Okay. Well, that was me. I messed this mic up. That's great. And I so cannot see if anybody's in here. I'm supposed to just start. I don't care if anybody's in here or not, really. Okay. Because I cannot see. Okay. Hang on. All right. Did I start on the right one? Okay, I just want to go over this 911 thing because I'm not sure that it helped anybody with anything. It just made me a little more confused. That's all. So, whoops, sorry, y'all. So that's why I'm going over it. Hang on 1 second, though, because this stupid mic. Okay, I think I fixed it. Maybe. Okay. Oops. Crap, I don't know who just said something, but hey, Meg P. Is it better? It's because I'm not talking that loud. I'm not in the best of whatever. I'm just doing this because it needs to be done. Because I respect the 4 people who are dead and the one that's all the evidence is pointing away from them. So it doesn't matter how I feel. I'm just doing this because of the respect I have for them. And that's about the only reason I'm doing it. Shit. Hang on. I can't do that like that. Let me do this and make this bigger. Jesus. I think y'all have seen it anyway. If I'm not reading all this crap up here, I don't know what this is. They've redacted half the stuff. I don't think they put everything. I'm really not sure. This 911 call, all these text messages. What am I doing first? I don't want to do the 911 call first. I'm an idiot. Wait a minute. What a dumbass. I'm doing this first. Wow. Okay. These text messages that I really don't understand, but we're going to do them anyway. Oh, God. Okay. In this case, at bar, starting on November 13th, 2022, at 2:10:29, DM sends, what is all the, her name, sends a text message to, why the fuck is she even, why? Okay. Nobody finds it weird that she sent the fucking Uber driver a text message? I mean, anyway. Did she know Kaylee and Maddie was home, or was she trying to find out, did he drop them off? That's just my opinion. Anyway. I know somebody's going to say, because she wanted to go somewhere. Get the hell on. I cannot. I can't deal with those. I can't. I'm not dealing with it today. I'm not even answering those stupid questions. The state submits this text message exchange is not hearsay because it will not be offered for the, it will not be, what? Will not be offered for the truth of the matter asserted. What the hell? Okay. Instead, it would be offered to show a timeline for the night. DM was awake and texting at 2:10 from 4:19 to 4:21. DM attempts to call BF. Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Goncalves, good Lord, I can't talk today, and Madison Mogan. So she didn't call Ethan? That's nice. She also didn't go check on him when nobody answered the damn phone. I guess they do pranks like this. One of their parents should have really told them that they should not do pranks like this. I mean, Steve kind of acts like they know they prank like this. If they're pranking a real night, like, why would you? My mama, even at 21, would be like, what the hell are y'all doing? Anyway, but that's normal. No, I would not even, there's no way. Hell with that. But I am stupid, so who knows. The records of these calls are not hearsay as they, oh, Jesus Christ, each do not meet the definition of the statement of oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct intended as an assertion, whatever, under what the fuck ever fucked up laws Idaho has. DM and BF send the following text messages, and I don't think this is all their text messages. I think this is fucking confusing is what I think. So they start out, no one is answering. That is not how these start out. You just text somebody and say nobody's answering. What are they talking about? So what is this? The state's way to try to make somebody... Never mind, I can't. I'm really confused right now. So are we. So are we. DM to Kaylee. Kaylee, what's going on? BF to DM. Yeah, dude, what the fuck? BF to DM. Xana was wearing all black. This is staged. I'm sorry. I'm going to say, in my opinion, this shit is ridiculous. That's all I'm saying. DM to BF. I'm freaking out right now. Yes, so are we. DM to BF. No, it's like a ski mask. What the fuck is she talking about? There's messages missing. They go from one subject. What? Are they trying to make us think that they were this freaked out that they were confusing? This is so full of shit. I will just want to write full of shit all over this. Not because the girls, I mean, that's another story, but because clearly, anyway. BF to DM, shut the fuck up. I mean, okay. BF to DM, actually what? DM to BF, like he had something over, oh shit, over his forehead and a little, what? A round mouth. Okay. DM to BF. BF, I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. Sure, you are so freaked out. BF to DM, so am I. DM to BF. Yeah, I feel like I'm reading half. It's not funny. I don't know what else to do because this is so irritating. This is so fucking just disrespectful. Just anyway. If this is what they showed the grand jury, no wonder the bitches were confused because I'm confused. Okay. DM to BF, my phone is going to die. Fuck. Come to my room, run down here. I'm not going to keep on saying BF to DM. These girls talking, excuse me, whatever they are. I would feel bad for them, but I cannot with this shit. I'm not sure. All of the above. Okay. I'm not even reading their bullshit neither. DM calls Ethan, call unanswered. And nobody went to check. What is she screwed? What is she talking about? Does somebody, let me go to my chat. Does anybody know what the hell she's talking about? Because I don't. I mean, she screwed about what? Are they trying to make these people look guilty? What are they trying? What was their point? I'm not sure what the point is in these. What are they? I can't. I just can't do any more stupidity. I cannot. Like, I've had it with people, period. I cannot. I completely, all the way, cannot. Just cannot. I cannot. Okay. What is she screwed about? And why are they putting the times down here, but not the times up there? And how did this go from 2 o'clock? They're talking about this shit at 2 o'clock and now it's 4 o'clock. I'm confused. Am I stupid? Did I misunderstand something? I'm confused. Can anybody explain that to me? y'all, this is my opinion, and I'm stupid, so I'm probably completely wrong. This shit is, I think they knew what was going on, and they sent these texts because they knew that somebody was going to have to look at their phones. That's what this sounds like to me. That's exactly what this sounds like to me. And I think if they would have put the other text in there, you would be able to see that this shit was sent at certain times, probably while they were sitting beside each other. My opinion only. So if anybody wants to attack me because of that, please do. You can't hurt my feelings worse than my feelings have already been hurt in the past 2 days. So you might not like it, though, when you attack me. It's my opinion. I can have an opinion. They're not 5-year-old girls. They're grown women. They want to be treated like grown women. Here you go. That's my damn opinion. I don't care who likes it. I didn't ask that. I'm just saying. Nobody has to like it. People can get mad at me. They can whatever. I don't care. This shit seems staged to me, especially when I don't care if somebody's pranking somebody or not. You don't go to sleep like, what the fuck? Her calling that Uber driver that was a family friend, that was this, that was that, that was a private driver that's been everything under the sun is suspicious. And I already said, which I'm not doing readings anymore, not for a while. I don't know if I will start them again or not, but I've already said that Dylan contacted him, but I think it was for different reasons than what they're trying to say it was. That's my opinion too. So anyway, on to this bullshit that we're reading. Okay. So BF continued to text. So did Dylan run downstairs to Bethany? I'm confused. Does anybody know? We don't know. Who knows? Okay. So what does she mean she's screwed, though? Because I'm not sure what that means. And then the next text we have, there's text in between that right there. Yeah, I know, but it's better than being alone. Yeah, but your friends are dead and alone, you fucking are. Your roommates are dead and alone, you fucking morons. Please, anyway. Or they might not be dead, but you wouldn't know because nobody went to check on them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Again, both statements are admissible at present sense, impressions, and you know what? It doesn't actually, let me be honest. In my world in high school, this would surprise me. In today's world, this does not it does not shock me at all. Actually, it doesn't, because I'm not sure what the fuck is going on with people nowadays, but it doesn't shock me. Does not. It really don't. So anyway, 427. She calls them again, or is this the same call? Because I'm confused. Because if she calls them twice and nobody goes to check on them, please answer. And Kaylee didn't say nothing, but we're not going to check on them because we're just going to lay here till 12 o'clock the next. What the fucking shit? All this does, or what are they trying to do with this? I'm confused. Perception of events. Her perception of events, that she sees eyeballs and shit that's on her wall and a fireman and a vacuum and I don't fucking know what else. Black, and she knows somebody's white. And I thought she thought it was Xana, but now she's saying it's a guy. So what? Okay. Xana's not that much taller. I don't know that Xana's taller than her either. So anyway, y'all, I'm sorry. This shit just frustrates me because none of this makes it. What the fuck? And these people, they're like, oh, that makes it da-da-da-da-da. I'm trying to figure out where in the fuck does this make Brian Koberger look guilty? Somebody please tell me. If somebody can fucking point it out and make any sense to me, please let me know now. Please allow me to know, because maybe I'm missing something. I just cannot with this. Like, I just don't understand. The 911 call is even worse, but so you're asking somebody to please answer. Are you up? Are you up? How many times they text them and nobody said anything? I understand Steve saying they were nervous or scared, but you're telling me that nobody went for how many, I mean, if these kids died at 2:00, then it was fucking more than 8 hours. If they died at 3:00, it was more than 8 hours. We don't even know. We don't even know if any of them was still alive and could have been saved. I mean, I don't understand why Idaho, why parents, why all these people are not pitching a fit. This is ridiculous. This is just talking about waking up. The fuck? Waking up, realizing she hasn't. So they just, okay. What? What are they trying to say here? DM sends these messages and just said, oh, we'll just go to sleep. Is this what we're supposed to believe? I'm just confused. Again, maybe I'm an idiot. Okay. At 11:39, when? That night or that morning? Did she call him that morning at 11? Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute, because I missed this. She called her dad at 11:39 before calling 911. I have an issue with that. Not that I matter. And you're telling me she didn't text Quinn at all, right? That's a mother effing lie. L-I-E. And if she didn't text Quinn, why didn't she text Quinn? Why didn't she text Quinn? But she called her dad. I thought that was PM, like before anything. So this is at 11:39, and there's Jesus, Lord have mercy. No wonder Kaylee's mad. I would be pissed off too. All righty then. I'm an idiot though. I don't really know that. Okay, so. Wow, that fucking. Okay. All this truth they got going here. Whatever that shit is supposed to say. I don't even care what the state says. The state anticipates that both DM and BF. Just shut up, Trisha. I'll just shut up to that. Somehow, I don't think Bethany and Dylan's statements are the same. Or they weren't. But, y'all, I think whatever they said at the grand jury, they have to say under oath because they were under oath at the grand jury. So if they change their statements, it can be, I don't remember what the hell that's called, but it can make them not, anything they say go away or whatever, because you can't do that. I can't remember what the hell it's called though. So excuse me for not knowing the words. Oh, look, some more redacted stuff. Oh, look, who signed this? Oh, I thought it was Ashley. I was like, Oh, it is. Look, that answers my question. That's why we're fucking confused, in my opinion. Okay, so now we're going to go to this 911 call that really just baffles me. I know everybody's seen this a million times, but I just wanted to go over it. So that's what I said. I care who's here, but I don't. Yeah, perjury. Thank you, A.R. Hayes. But I don't. I would have done this with me talking to myself. Because I just can't. Why did she call her dad? I can't. I cannot. I cannot. I'm sorry. If Dylan and them show me that they're completely innocent, I will make a public apology and make an ass of myself. But until then, I cannot. This is my opinion. They're grown-ass women. I cannot do it. I do not understand. I'm not going to understand. And this shit makes it worse. Okay, so in this 911, I don't know what we call this. I've watched Rescue 911 and have never heard a 911 call like this. My cousin was a 911 dispatcher and never had a 911 call like this. Never mind. Okay. So I'm not reading this 911 call like the 911 operator unless, she answers the phone. He, she, and all these QA, and why can't they just put people's names or something? Shit. Who was that? Dispatch a A is a woman. A1 is woman. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to keep up with that. So whoever these people are. How many 911 operators do they have? Shit. How many people's on the phone? Anyways, what's the address of the emergency? 1122. No, don't. What? No, don't. I can't. Please, God, for the love of God. What? I want to hear. I need to hear this because I mean, maybe I'm just reading into this wrong. I'm confused. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read this to see how I even read this. See, we need to hear it because I don't want to make judgment on this because maybe they were. I'm confused though. It's like they put shit out like this to confuse everybody. Like they want confusion going on. I don't understand this. Can you repeat the address? Make sure I have it right. I'll talk to you guys. Whoever the hell, I guess that's another person. We live at the right. So we're next. What the fuck? So we're next to them. I don't know what they're next to. I need someone to repeat the address for verification. The address. Oh no, I can't. 1122 King Road. And what's the phone number that you're calling from? What's your number? So they go through all that shit. What's the rest? So they didn't even give them all the number. They could have been like in shock. That could have been, I guess. It's when we get down here that I get real confused. Okay, and tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates who's passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. That's all they say. You're going to tell me that, and when the cop gets there, hang on, we'll get there. No, we saw, okay. Oh, and they saw some man. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. 12 hours ago, 8 hours ago, 10 hours. That's irrelevant by now. Now they put somebody else on the phone. Y'all, this is not normal. Like, even if you're that upset, you're wanting somebody to get there. You're not passing around the phone. Fucking shit. And are you with the patient? Yeah, but they're dead. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. But I mean, fuck. Oh my God. By now, I cannot. Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. Jesus, I cannot. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? Yeah, can somebody tell us what happened? Can you please? Because y'all didn't. What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really. No, the fuck, I'm not reading this. I dare one of us to try this shit because we would be under whatever jail. Okay. I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. And then what? Okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone's passed out, can you find out? Yeah, I'll come. Come on, we got to go check. What? But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? So they dispatched Moscow. It took them this long to get an okay. Ambulance for. She's not waking up. No, do you not see? Never mind. Unconsciousness at 1122 King Road. Okay, so that's them people. They're en route. And she tells them that she's getting help started that way. We needed them 8 hours ago, but we didn't tell you that. I guess they can't figure out what the hell whoever's saying. That's the damn dispatcher, I think, isn't it? So all ambulances respond for unconsciousness. So how many damn ambulances did they send? And is something missing? Because if she's sending all ambulances for one person unconscious, that's weird. Whatever the hell she said there. Multiple RPs on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up. Believe she got drunk last night and something they can't understand. about a male being in the room with them. Whatever the hell that's supposed to be, being around. The one I copy about 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further. So did they take out some of the shit that the operator was saying? They asked how old she is. 20. 20, you said yes, 20. Do you want to talk to them? Who are they talking to now? Again, she has to say, stop passing the phone around. Is she breathing? No, she's not breathing. And when the fucking cop gets there, it tells you, Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them. Okay. Okay, I've already sent an ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. I don't know who they're asking about a defibrillator to. I'm not sure any of this stuff. I'm confused on that. Unless the officer was there, I'm confused. So she basically tells them that she's going to let them go since the officer's there, because there's an officer there. The first thing he fucking says is, I think we have a homicide, but they have called 911 and said that Xana's unconscious. The man walks in the fucking house and says, I think we have a homicide. I am sorry. I know they were upset, but nobody says that. Nobody. I mean, you're not screaming that these people are bleeding. You just think, I mean, she's just unconscious. I cannot. I'm sorry. I can't. This is the stupidest thing they did. They would have done better just not even releasing that shit. Yeah, I want to hear the audio too, because none of this makes any sense. How much of that did they take out? Because if they were trying to get people to be on their side, the state, okay, I don't think that's helping any at all. If the cop walked in and said, I think we have a fucking homicide, these kids literally, and I'm not saying what they said was not redacted, but to me, it seems like somebody wanted to tell them what happened and somebody else didn't want them to tell them what happened, because they were telling them, no, don't tell them that. Basically, is the way I feel about it. I feel like it's like, if we don't see it, close your eyes. If you don't see it, you just think they're passed out. Oh, we didn't know that. We just thought they was drunk. Oh, there's stab wounds everywhere. There's fucking blood everywhere, but nobody knows him. Jesus Christ. If I was all four of those kids, my soul would be pissed off. But, you know, if I was parents, I would be pissed off, because anybody that reads this 911 call cannot, and I understand parents are upset and everything, but I'm sorry, this is a fight for your kid, and this sounds absolutely ridiculous. They would just have to sue me. I don't care how protected DM and BF were. I don't give a flying F, because there's no way. I'm sorry. Who gives a shit? That is what's wrong with people. Nobody stands up for what the fuck is right. Everybody's worried about getting sued. Everybody's worried about this and that and the other. That's my whole point with everything, and that's why I'm stepping away from everything, because I'm not going to step away from this stuff, because I care about these four kids. And right now, Brian Koberger looks pretty innocent, and I don't really think we should let him go in front of a firing squad. Whenever these kids play pranks or whatever it is they do, and that's normal, and somebody should really tell them not to do that. Like, my parents would have advised, hey, y'all don't need to be doing that shit. Like, why is that just funny? With knives and everything else, they just normal. I don't think that Dylan or Bethany thought this was normal that night, especially when Kaylee and Maddie, and they text them multiple times, y'all. They called them multiple times. They texted them multiple times. They were begging them to wake up. But the issue I have is this. Why did Dylan call her dad at 11:30 in the morning? Is that normal? Did she just do that on mornings? Because somehow I don't think that's normal. No, I mean, people are just so scared of what somebody's going to say or whatever. And I just like, although I've been called a liar, I don't lie. I just call out the bullshit. I mean, I'm sorry. This doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't look right to me. The 911 call looks fake. I mean, it looks like it was rehearsed or something. Not rehearsed good. It looks like a bad rehearsal or a fucking bad play gone really bad. The text to me looks like they were sent as a plan. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, but it looks like it was set up this way. And in my opinion, Dylan calling her dad, I'm not even going to say what I think about that, but that's beside the point. It just looks like it's all set up. It looks like it looks like a bad play to me. And now what I believe, since how we know they did pranks like this, because I didn't really know they did pranks like with knives and shit like that. And Lana was saying, and I heard this too, that when Kaylee and Maddie, I don't know if this is true, so this is all alleged, but when Kaylee and Maddie went outside, they saw somebody in a mask when they took Murphy outside. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But weren't they in masks when they went and did this to that kid? I can't remember his name. He's still alive, but his parents were trying to sue like the school. I don't remember that kid's name. But he was scared of the football player or something. Weren't they in masks and stuff when they did that? And he slept with a knife under his pillow because he was scared. I think that's what they said. Yeah, I can't remember because I can't keep up with all this stuff because this town is really, if people don't think this shit is weird, then I just don't know. I hope that parents, before they any college though, before they send their kid to it, that they're paying attention, because you don't play with masks and knives and pranks like with that, because an accident can happen. And this could have been, if they were doing any kind of substances, them trying to play a prank and an accident happened, and then one saw the other one, so they couldn't leave a witness. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, at this point, this does not have anything to do with Brian Kohberger, because we don't know, or did they plan this to, and all of this is really swimming in my head with the Reddit thing coming out. Not Reddit, that other stupid thing that they used off of Reddit, but that coming out and them saying, I want to know those boys, or I want to know all the frats that lived in that house over there. I want to know what their phone was doing. Because if all their phones were streaming YouTube and sitting still, I have a problem. And that's what I'm saying. There's too much of that stuff that makes sense that shouldn't make sense, that people knew beforehand. And so now all that, and I said I didn't think a 20-year-old could do this, but I mean, I don't know what the scene looked like anyway. They could have DNA from them kids and just not saying nothing, or them kids' DNA is already all over the house anyway. So that's why I don't know. But I'm just saying, if those kids' phone from that post, what the hell is that thing called? It's not Reddit, it's the other thing. But those posts, I want to know what their phones was doing. And that, if I was a parent, that's the first thing I'd ask. I don't give a shit whether it was on something that everybody thinks is a lie or not. All that shit's making too much sense now. So I would want to know what those 4chan. Yes, thank you. I could not remember the name of it, my brain. But I would like to know what the hell all them people's phones were doing. Because that shit's that's too weird. And in my opinion, if any of their texts are true, Dylan has seen whoever this person is dressed up pranking. But okay, why wouldn't they prank Dylan in them though? So they just don't ever prank Dylan and Bethany. This don't make sense though. That's where that don't make sense. I'm not just taking up for them. I don't see them girls pranking people with knives and stuff like that. Not real knives. I just don't. And when I say protected like Dylan and Bethany, I mean that their lawyers advising them that if they say anything that they're going to get sued. They would just have to sue me for everything I have. I mean, it ain't worth it. I don't give a shit. What's money? I mean, it's my kid. I want to know the truth. Like, her life does not represent any kind of money. There's no money that you can't bring her back. You know what I mean? So fuck the money. That's what I'm saying. All these people, I just can't. I am really passionate about what I do though, and passionate about, I'm an Aquarius, so what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and that's just how I am, period. I air out all my laundry. I don't give a shit. I will tell anybody what I did wrong any day of the week. And even if I don't think I'm wrong, I will say, but people think I'm wrong, so maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I just don't think, whatever. Because I just think that's how the world should work. But, you know, who am I? So, I mean, I guess one reason this story bothers me so bad is because I know plenty of people that would, I don't even know if they call 911. Hell, they'd just try to bury my body somewhere. So, you know. Yeah, why would Xana be dressed in all black? Unless she wore like black to the party, like a black dress or something. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. It seems like it's not really true, or it's okay. I don't want to say it's not true. I feel because I don't understand what they're talking about, Xana. Then they go to talking about their stuff missing, but it almost seems like that these were texts that they were told to send. Well, it just means that they will be very different, probably. It depends on what their moon, their rising is and their moon is. But the thing is most Aquariuses are very upfront. They're very, see, I have an emotional side to me because I have a Gemini moon. Like a lot of Aquariuses don't have an I wish I didn't have an emotional side. I wish I was a fucking just screw you. I can turn around and walk away from you and it don't fucking matter. That's what I need to be. Unfortunately, that's not me. But most Aquariuses are very, tell it like it is. I'm very quirky. I don't care. I don't care what people think as far as like the people that I don't know. I don't care. When I do care about what you think, it means that you meant something in my life. So that's where that goes. But most all Aquariuses are like, what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. It's supposed to be fair. No matter what it is, no matter what. If you tell me what time they were born, I can tell you. If you give me their information, Meg, I can tell you what it is. But what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. It does not matter. Even if I'm wrong, even if whoever, it does not matter about money. It does not matter about nothing else. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong, and that's the way it should be. Yeah, I don't like my moon. I don't like emotions. I need no emotions. But anyways, I need none at all. My feelings get hurt way too easy. Way too easy. And I take it really personal. And I really take it personal when people say crazy shit about me. I really take it personal. And I take it even more personal when they fucking get away with it. It pisses me off to no end. But it's all good. I like being quirky. I don't give a shit. But and sometimes I think the prosecution puts stuff out. I wonder, is it to make the girls look guilty? Are they trying to tell us something? Because this shit doesn't make, I can't make it make sense. I cannot make it make sense at all. Not making it make sense. The 911 call is very weird. Because I completely understand if you're 20 and you're confused, that does not sound like confusion. That sounds like they're trying to pass the phone because they don't want anything to do with it. That's what it sounds like to me. That's exactly what it sounds like. Because my opinion, they knew this was more than a prank because it sounded like more than a prank. But they're still trying to push this narrative. That's, I think, what they're trying to do. That the girls were so upset they didn't know what was going on. What's been redacted is what the hell they were hearing, probably, in my opinion. Because, yes, I am an idiot. But if anybody believes in anything I do, a lot of people say they do. But I had a dream, and I didn't see blood. I didn't see none of that shit because I can't handle that. I did hear Kaylee scream once, but I could hear. I did not see the deed being done, but I could hear it. And it is not quiet. And you could hear it downstairs. You could hear it throughout the house. You could hear it. Okay. So if that was the case, if anything I had a dream about was right, then I'm not going to say they knew what that was because, I mean, you know. You have a Capricorn moon? I can't. Oh no, it ain't got nothing to do with no damn Viv. She's blocked. I don't have to worry about her. I ain't worried about nobody coming at me about this damn case. Well, I ain't worried about that. I don't care what they say. I have my opinion on it. They can have theirs. When they can give me a smart answer on what the hell they talking about, I'll talk to them. Because if people think he's guilty, Brian's guilty, that's fine. Whatever. But when you tell me that all this makes sense to you, you damn full of shit. Oh, they have a Capricorn moon? I'm not sure what that means, Meg. Heather would probably know it off the bat, but I haven't studied Capricorn a whole lot, so I would have to look. But I'll look it up. They're Aquarius with a that's interesting. Aquarius with a Capricorn moon. That's very interesting. That's very interesting, actually. No. Yeah, I don't care who comes at me about this case, but I blocked Viv because I couldn't argue with her no more because I can't with people that I don't feel like they have common sense when they're talking. And I guess she's smart or whatever, and she may be, but I just can't with the shit she was saying, so I just blocked her. Keep it moving. So I have no idea what she says. When she's in chat and I'm in chat, I have no idea what she's saying because I can't see her, thank God. So I don't know what she's saying. Well, that Capricorn moon might play into that though, with it being Aquarius. I don't know. I think that is interesting though, because yeah, we'll see. They're going to be unique. Who, Viv? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She is exhausting, and I just couldn't because I have a hard time keeping my mouth shut when people keep on saying something or whatever. Like I can't just ignore. I just had to block her. I was like, yeah, I can't. And so now I just have no idea what she's saying. So it's great. Say what she wants to. Everybody else arguing with her. I just block. And that's why I do. Because I can't. And especially right now, because I don't have the patience. I don't have the patience at all. I cannot. I'm in one of those moods where literally my feelings have been hurt so bad that I'm going to end up hurting somebody else's feelings when they're saying stupid stuff. So I just don't. And I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. I'm not trying to be mean. This is a case. I'm trying not to dislike people over a case, but like it is ridiculous. I mean, could this man be guilty and befooled us all? I mean, anybody could, I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, but in America, you have to prove it, and I don't see where they're proving it. We're going to go, like I said 3 months ago, we're going to go to trial, and we're going to see all this evidence, but none of it points to Brian. So we're looking at all these exhibits, talking about all this shit, and what the hell does it have to do with the person that is on trial? Anything? No. What the hell? Idaho should be outraged. I mean, I'm confused at why nobody is, I don't know. I don't know, nobody ain't say nothing. I mean, I'm in Alabama. I'm not taking my ass to Idaho. That's the last place I need to go. The last place I need to go. Especially with my luck, that's the last place I need to go. I don't want to be in that courtroom. I cannot handle it. I will say something. I will be in jail. So I don't need to go. Because I can't just sit there. That's why I don't understand how parents are just sitting there. Like, this shit makes me cry. Because these 4 kids are like, to me, they have been so disrespected. Just completely, disgustingly disrespected by the state, by the college, by people in Idaho, because taking up for their parents is fine. Like, being there because they're grieving and understanding their grief is fine. But somebody should come out and say, look, I understand maybe you can't see this, but I'm going to fight for you and your kid. Like, what? I don't know why people can't just stand up. There's people that think that are not saying that. Stand up and tell the damn truth. Just tell the truth. That's the problem. Just tell the truth. And that is one reason I cannot stand to be called a fucking liar. You can do anything to me. Call me a slut. Call me a whore. But when you call me a liar, that shit right there, that is a fucking PTSD trigger moment. And most people that call me a liar know that. And that is exactly why I have issues with it. I have bad issues with it. So the one way you can get to me, if you don't know me, you call me a liar. That's one thing. But when you know everything that I've said, told you about me, and you call me a liar, there's a problem. Most people know there's a problem, and that's why they do it. And I just don't appreciate it. Period. Because that's manipulative, by the way. Anyway, it's beside all the points, but I'm just saying that's manipulative. Anyway, I was trying to find this video thing. Now I can't even remember what the hell it was. My brain is everywhere. I'm not the most exciting person to listen to right now because I'm not the most excited. I'm actually, I mean, I don't mind people knowing I'm just at one of the lowest points of my life right now, and that's why I'm not doing readings. But I am going to do this because somebody, I mean, I just feel like people have to advocate for these 4 kids. It doesn't matter how bad I feel or what's going on in my life. I advocate for these 4 kids and somebody that could be a victim. That story just that now. I mean, none of that shit makes sense to me. And I think Bethany, I don't know if it's been testified to or whatever, heard people arguing like more than, so none of that shit makes any sense to me. In my opinion, that's not what Dylan saw. Dylan did not see any of that she said. That was made up about, like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not going to say they weren't scared of anything. I'm just going to say that I think there was things they were scared of. I think there are things they're still scared of, which is sad. But I don't think it's what we think that or what we're being made to think that they're scared of, Because I don't think Dylan saw any of that. I think Dylan knows who was in the house. Maybe Bethany does. I don't know. But I think Dylan knew who was in the house. And I don't think that's what she saw. And that's just my opinion. And people can get mad if they want to. I can have my opinion. Like I said, they're grown. They're not little kids. I'm not attacking her. I'm not going to hunt her down on the internet wherever she's gaming or what the fuck ever she's doing, or hunting Bethany down and fucking telling them this shit. So, you know, it's my opinion. If somebody in their family listens, which I doubt they will because that would be stupid, then I'm sorry. You have to look at the situation the way everybody else is looking at it. That's all I know to say. I don't know what else to say about that. Where the hell is this thing I was looking for? There's some in my eyeball. Hang on. I swear. Oh yeah, did y'all see that's what I want to show. The Steve Goncalves interview. Hang on. Goncalves, whatever. Hang on. Lord have mercy. Hang on. Why you have to do this like this? Okay. We're going to watch this, what he thinks of the unknown male DNA, because I've not seen that. Hang on. And then the one about the... Well, if I can find it, I don't want to use that girl's shit, though. Okay. I might find the other one. We'll just watch this one right now. Because I don't know where the other one is. All right. Is that Sharon? Yeah. Okay. Let me mute myself.
No, we didn't hear a word, and my wife has said from the very beginning when the hopefully the 911 never came out, and if it did come out, at least she would have, be some prepared. She has a counselor, she has people she could talk to. There's certain things that coping mechanisms. So we'd like for the advocate or somebody to kind of let us know what's going on, rather than nothing personal, but having the media tell you is probably not the same as having somebody that, that you've learned to have a relationship and you trust and you've worked with. So yeah, we're finding out just like everyone else. So it's a bit rough.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And I remember that you had a meeting with them months ago, and I thought they were going to sort of give you guys a heads up when things were going to be released publicly. And I guess that didn't happen in this case, which is unfortunate. Is there anything, Steve, obviously the horror is what stands out to me, but was there anything in the text of the text messages or the call that really struck you?
What struck me is, it's not like Hollywood. It's not a scripted thing. It's not like what you would see on a TV set. That was a raw, emotional breakdown of two girls that were scared for their life. There's part of me that knows that, like how that house was. There's a lot of pranking going on. There's a lot of partying. So there's part of them that was probably thinking, is this a prank? Am I getting messed with? I know for a fact my daughter loved pranking people. So my heart goes out to those two girls. I'd have a hard time if I was one of their parents to have my daughter put through what they've been put through. I mean, we sat 2.5 years on what? Why did this need to be hidden from the public? Why did these girls have to be dragged through all this? These are the type of things that why I do these interviews and why we push back a little bit, because I think a lot of people are questioning right now why this was hidden.
Yeah, look, Shannon, it's been years and none of this is coming out until now. And now the judge has said that he wants more of this to become public. But Steve makes a good point. If this had just come out within the first couple of months, maybe it would have been easier on the survivors and the victims' families like the Goncalves.
Yeah, the prosecution's choice in keeping everything under wraps has been a decision that they've made from
I'm sorry. I had to stop that. Okay, I have a question. No, I am not. This is nothing personally against Kaylee's parents. But to get to the truth, we have to ask questions. People don't understand that. If I have mods in here, if somebody says something stupid, just time them out or something, because I can't today. Kaylee's mama didn't want the 911 call to come out. Why? Oh God, I'm sorry, Megby. I can't remember what your sign is, but I wish I was Aquarius. I wish I was just Aquarius across the board. Hey, people would come in here. If new people come in here, I was too busy over here fuming about all this. But Kaylee's mama didn't want the 911 call to come out. They didn't know what the 911 call said, but I thought Hunter found Ethan because nothing's mentioned about anybody but Xana. So I'm confused. Is anybody else confused about this? Or am I just still stupid? Just wondering. Just wondering. Oh, yours is mixed. That's why you're so pretty, Meg. Because yours is mixed with fanciness. That's why. A Libra and Gemini moon. Yeah, you're just fancy, ma'am. But you don't have the fancy stuck-up attitude, so that's good. So that mixture must be good. But you're just fancy. That's why. Oh, you're good. Nothing. I've asked. Hey, Twiz. Where did I see you at? Oh, yeah. But if I was Kaylee's mama, I would be pissed at whoever told me that Hunter Johnson had to open that door like that, because these people are talking about, welcome, Camaro lady, are talking about, Steve G's first thing saying that his wife did not want the 911 call to come out. We're fixing to listen to the rest of this. I just could not, because I was over here steaming about that still. Just saying. I don't know. I'm confused. Oops, hang on. Let me mute myself. So
from the get-go, they haven't wavered from it in any way. That being said, I mean, for lack of a better term, I'm just pissed. Common decency should have the Latah County prosecutor's office and the victims' advocates contact myself and the victims' families and let them know some of the stuff that's coming down and is being filed. So they're not just surprised by it, and just have a really just honest conversation with us about it. But none of that happens. And I'm frustrated and I'm pissed for myself and the family that I don't have a chance to explain those things to them, to give them a little bit of a heads up on, hey, these motions are filed this way and they may or may not be successful. If it is successful, who cares? Doesn't affect the case in some way, or my opinion on whether or not those motions might be filed or might be successful or not. But it's just really, really frustrating. And I know Steve and Christy are frustrated by it, but I'm the one that gets to say, I'm pissed, and I'm pissed for everybody. So.
Yeah, and I mean, even if they can't give you the documents ahead of time, it seems like they could at least give you a heads up to tell the family, hey, maybe don't watch the news for an hour. Give me a second to go through these and call you. It seems like that would be sort of a decent thing to do. Steve, what do you make of this latest motion where they're trying to ban words from coming out during trial? I mean, simple words like that are part of the case: murder, bushy eyebrows, sociopath, psychopath. Did this come as a surprise, Steve?
Yeah, I thought they'd have a sadistic on there from the profile that I know that they've made of him. Some of the websites that he's been to, that was one that rated really high with him. So I'm a little surprised they didn't put that word on there. But when you're super desperate, you really have nothing. You know, you attack words and simple things like that. I mean, they're really done. I mean, their client has left so much evidence that they've got to attack words. So I guess it's a sign. It's a sign of what's to come, and hopefully the state, the prosecution, is strong enough to see this all the way through and not give in to the desperation that's about to come and the plea deals that they're going to try to negotiate for.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com.
What fucking plea deals are they talking about? What fucking plea deals are they talking about? And why is there people with thumbnails saying that Brian Kohberger's DNA was under Maddie's fingernails? Can somebody please explain this to me? I just made them things. I go over and click the little 3 dots and say, don't show me this again. Because I cannot. Now, what are these people going to do when they get to court? I mean, what? Nobody in these people's family is saying, hey, why is this lawyer not saying something to them? Why is their lawyer? There's no way. I cannot. This lawyer, their lawyer, somebody, please help me. Well, what's he doing? What's going on? They have a lawyer. Yeah, nothing half-assed. Her stuff is always good. We'll go and watch a couple of her things. Her stuff is always good. It was somebody's DNA. It wasn't Brian Kohberger's, though. I don't know whose DNA it was or whatever the hell. I guess DNA, right, y'all? Something. Whatever they pulled. But what about Xana's feet? Well, I don't know. Okay, never mind. What about any of the other ones? Like, yeah, well, I don't click on them. It just pisses me off. It pisses me off for somebody to do that, because that's why these people come in these chats saying the most stupidest things. That is why. That is why. And that is what I'm talking about. Let's just divert from the truth and say anything. These are people that are not here anymore. Screw your clickbait. Like, really? When you are more worried about somebody clicking on your thing, do y'all see my thumbnails? I don't care. I'm not. I cannot. It is not. You don't do true crime for entertainment like that. It's not entertainment. There are people that are not here now because of, I cannot. Why are people like this? I can't with people. I cannot. Why can't people just say, it would be so easier than causing so much fucking drama. Literally, I'm going through this personally, to just tell the fucking truth. Tell the truth. Open your mouth instead of manifesting in your fucking head some bullshit that has not, like, nobody has no idea what you're talking about. This is just like this case. Manifesting shit in your head that absolutely is not even what's going on. Jesus Lord. Just tell the truth. And I don't understand why that cannot be done. Tell the fucking truth. And when you care about somebody, you don't sugarcoat things. You just tell them the truth. I know well, sometimes, not with me, it don't. Because me being kind, they take my kindness for my weakness. Every time. And then when I'm mean about it, I just need to get over it. Hell no. I'm done being nice. I cannot. I refuse. I don't give a shit no more. Don't nobody care about my feelings. I don't care about theirs. And that's the way I've been. I cannot do this. And I'm not going to. So, I try to respect people, but the 911 call made me question a lot of things. Yeah, I don't know how it was investigated. I'm still confused. The only thing I've been able to figure out, which I'm not an investigator, so God forbid, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a judge, I'm not any of that. I just feel like, here, we're going to give you a tip. It's Brian Kohberger's name. From what I understand was said, this is alleged because I can't remember everything and I don't have all these interviews, but they told them that not to use DNA, not to use basically his name without going through and investigating it, basically. And to me, what they did was went through and matched things that matched Brian Kohberger that could be around, because that car is so just like, I mean, how many cars of those are around? And I don't even know that that's the car. Like, I don't even know that that's the same kind of car, because there's so many cars that look like that. So to me, the car that they have on picture at that 1122 house, and I knew they had a picture from that house. I knew they did. It looks like a sports car with a damn sunroof to me. I can't really tell because the lighting, but I don't know how they're going to use that to, I mean, I don't understand how that's going to help them, but I'm an idiot, so, you know, who knows. I'm just saying that I understand that everybody's like, the prosecution can have more. They don't have to tell us. No, they don't. It's a fire truck. I mean, shit. You know what, Meg? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody tried to convince us of that. If somebody had a thumbnail up with that damn car up, trying to convince us that was a fire truck, you know what? I would not even be shocked. I would just click the 3 buttons and say, "Don't show me this shit again." That's about what I have to do. Because at this point, it's not for me to be right. This is fucking utter disrespect for these 4 kids, period. In my opinion, utter disrespect. Yeah, it looks like it to me too, but the way the light's shining, that there's more than one picture of that car they got. They're not showing, but they did that one because the way the light was shining on that car. And now they're going to try to use a seatbelt ticket to try to freaking compare cars. I'm telling y'all, I told y'all what they was going to do, and I'm going to fall out laughing because I done told y'all I was. I can't help it. I cannot help it. Yeah, they're... Yeah, and I don't think Dylan actually pointed fingers at Brian. I really don't. I'm going to take up for her on that. I think she said she didn't know who that dude was. I don't think she tried to pin it on him. I think Ellie did, and they tried to make her, you know what I mean? Like, is this a dude? She told him she didn't know. They didn't tell us that, though. You know what I mean? So they have made her suspect to us, but the reason she's suspect to me is not nothing to do with Ellie. It's the other shit and just the shit that I feel and whatever. And the other thing is the Uber driver and her calling her daddy. Those 2 things right there. I thought she called her daddy that night. It was 11:30 the next morning when she called her daddy. You're going to tell me they didn't know nothing was going on? I call bullshit. I call straight bullshit on that. And Ellie did twist her stuff, which makes it even worse. But I'm just saying, from the stance that I see, why did she call that Uber driver? That's fucking weird. And I have my own thoughts on that because I knew she called the Uber driver before this come out because it come up in one of my readings. And the reason she called the Uber driver or the private driver or what the fuck ever this man is was not the reasons that was said. But I could be wrong. I'm just saying. Hang on. We're going to watch this just because, I mean, I just have to go back for a minute. I'm not trying to rehash everything, but I got to go back because I'm so confused now that I'm trying to remember what was said and I can't. So, you know. Jesus, hang on.
Good evening, America, and welcome to this special edition of Cross Country in Moscow, Idaho. Tonight, we are in front of the Moscow Police Department, and you may be asking why. It's been about 3 weeks since the horrific stabbing death of 4 college students at the University of Idaho. 3 weeks since we lost Zayna, Maddie, Kaylee, and Ethan. 3 weeks, and still the police have no suspect or person of interest. The community has been left in limbo, left with more confusion and more questions. We are on the hunt for answers for them. Moscow deserves answers. The students of the university deserve answers. These 4 young innocent victims deserve answers, and so do their families. So let's start there. Joining me now on set, the parents of Kaylee Goncalves, Christy and Steve Goncalves. Thank y'all so much for being with me. You guys have been so transparent and strong for the public. Christy, you called the person that did this the boogeyman.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
It's literally like what nightmares are made of. Like when you're a little kid and you think of the boogeyman, that's just how I feel. Like that's just the horrific details of everything. Them just having a good time, going home and going to bed, and that's happening to them.
Your best friend crawling into bed.
Just crawling in bed.
Every
and
girl
the
in
boogeyman
America
comes.
knows what that's
The
like.
boogeyman doesn't, meet you at McDonald's. I mean, the boogeyman comes and snatches you out of your bedroom.
Steve, we've been talking. I've been talking to folks in the community. You said something that stuck with me. You said, until this person is caught, you can't sleep in your bed.
No, I can't just lay in my bed and do nothing. That's not the way I raised my family. That's not the way I raised my girls and my son. You don't be a victim. You stand up for yourself and you do everything in your power to make sure people hear you. And they're gonna hear Kaylee. They're gonna hear Maddie. They're gonna hear these.
The other two as well.
Yes.
All of them.
I'm careful saying anything about them because I need to be careful because I can't speak on somebody else's child. But these 2 girls, I'm not trying to be a glory hound, but these 2 girls, I'm going to do what I can do. And we're not being victims. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out how to make sure that we hold everybody, accountable, and we keep eyes and attention on this and get this thing resolved.
Steve, you have made it very clear to our audience that you are supportive of law enforcement. You support the investigation. But recently, I've been watching and talking with you, and you're getting frustrated. What does that frustration come from, sir?
They put certain people between you and the officers that are making things happen. And those people are like lawyers and they don't want to say anything. And they don't have the guts to come up and be alpha and be like leaders and say, hey, we might say something that's wrong. We're going to take that hit. So the officers, they look me straight in their eyes. The lead detective looked me in his eyes. I have no doubt he's working as hard as he can. But somebody isn't communicating. There's nothing being released. It seems like they're trying to suppress the story. We want to put rewards out there. Like, don't do that. Yeah, I get it. Your town doesn't want to have reward posters posted all over when you come and you do your rush. You're not going to get a lot of students if they see those things. But this community is not going to heal until this guy's pulled off the streets. It ain't going to happen. Think it through. It's not going to happen. He has to be off the streets. We all are working for the same thing.
When was the last time y'all heard from the police?
Thursday,
we looked at our phone records. We want to be accurate. We don't want to sell anyone out.
about 3 o'clock on Thursday.
And
did y'all get an update from the police about the investigation?
There was nothing. We have no updates for you.
There was no update. They
Via
needed me to
text.
sign a waiver form so that they could investigate something
Some mail.
that was mail related. So we're working with them. We're not selling them out. We love our law support.
The FBI, everybody that's here. We just have no information as family, and it gets tough day after day after day. I mean, every day you just wake up and think today's the day. We're going to hear something, and you see these, oh, there's a break in the case, and it'll just be something stupid.
The sixth
you know?
person on the lease that was never there. Stop playing games. This is serious. These are people's lives, and this is the future of this community. There's going to be 10,000, 15,000 kids that come into this community next year, or they don't. So be serious.
I had the opportunity to speak to some of my sources, and I've been told that there were differences in the way that the victims were killed. Some were more severe than the other. And this week we heard the target attack walk back and then reverse it back to it being a target attack. What can you tell us about the targeted attack?
They have told us that it was targeted, but they told us they can't tell who. We asked specifically, and they said, we'll try to get that information to you. And they got back to us a day or so later, and they said, we're sorry, we can't give you that information. But then a day later, we saw in the news that it was not targeted, or they think the whole house was targeted. But
I'll cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Their means of death don't match.
Maddie's
They don't.
and Kaylee's cause of death, it does not match based on the autopsy report.
They don't match.
yeah,
Would indicate that one of them.
He doesn't have
May
to go
have
up
been
the
a target.
steps. Let's stop playing games, guys. I need somebody to step up and be an alpha. Be somebody to be a leader. Don't make me do it. I don't want to do it. He doesn't have to go up the steps. Their points of damage don't match. I'm just gonna say it. Wasn't leaked to me. I earned that. I paid for that funeral. I paid for that. It's my right. You ain't taking that from me.
calm down.
If you don't want to say nothing, that's your bet. But don't say I'm leaking anything. I paid that bill. Sent my daughter to college to get an education. She came back in the box, and I can speak on that.
I was also told from sources that are closer to an investigation, because there was a lot of roommates in there. And this was horrific for those roommates that were there as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
The preservation of this crime scene. Witnesses tell me that it may have well been preserved because the phone was passed around between one of the fraternity members and the girls. One of them unfortunately witnessed the death, the body there. Can you confirm that?
We cannot actually. We know nothing about that whole phone call. We've asked, and it's, I mean, I know that a lot of people want to know, but that's just not our agenda. We just are like, somebody called 911, somebody was reported unconscious. We don't really know. I mean, we've heard so many different things, and nothing has been clarified or been told to us at all. And I mean, I don't know if I personally have asked anything about that. I don't know if you have asked that, but we know that this is getting 3 weeks in, and it's starting to get, we don't want it to go cold. We're reaching out. I've reached out to friends down in California today that have connections that we're hoping to raise some money to get a reward, to get a private investigator.
Third party.
Why go the private route? Do y'all worry that at the end of this week that this case may be
100%.
cold?
We're scared.
When you
We're
tell me you
scared.
don't want a photo up there with the reward offering information, that kind of sounds like you're trying to like suppress the story. I mean, why do you not need help? But hey, I could be wrong. And your officers, I apologize if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I want to,
absolutely.
please forgive me. Please forgive me. But if you don't have the information, people do know. If they don't, then you
Give
know,
us
the
something.
community, this is a community that is IT based. These guys live a digital footprint like we've never. All of us older people, we don't know how much that digital footprint could be helpful. So that's what we ask for. I hope like a DNA, a family lineage, if they could come out here and just start taking, this town is not that big. We could figure out this, and it might not be him. It might be a family member. We have family all going to the school together. You know, there's cousins, there's aunts, there's uncles. We could find this guy
Those,
just with volunteers.
lineage companies where
Put Idaho on the map.
Christy, Steve, we're going to stay on this case.
Thank you.
We're not
Thank you.
going anywhere.
Thank you.
You guys have been candid with us. We'll keep asking questions. Any resource that we have available, our audience is praying for you guys.
Well, I shouldn't watch that because now I have more of a problem. Did y'all hear what they said at the end of that? Am I hearing shit? And I'm not saying I blame them, because at this point, Steve was like level-headed. I would have been saying the same thing. When did they think about getting this lineage DNA stuff? Was it because this man come out and said, look, when was this? Wait a minute. 3 weeks. Somebody help me understand. Because clearly I didn't pay attention before. That's why I'm re-watching this stuff. But that's weird. Let's put Idaho on the map. That's weird. That's really weird to me. I'm just saying. That's weird. That's weird. That's weird. And all of that stuff y'all talking about is scary. When did they talk about this family lineage stuff, y'all? Did y'all hear that? Is that just me? Am I stupid? Did I forget something? Did they already tell them that? Or I'm confused. But did y'all hear them talking about like family lineage and stuff and all that good stuff? Like, were they already talking about that or something? And at this time, they were saying hold everybody accountable. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's going on. That's really weird to me. I want to hear what this woman says again.
According to independent lab tests, husky
Hang on,
riders
y'all.
are
Shit, what am I gonna do? Damn it. Okay. Hang on. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I just want to hear because I can't remember.
Kathy with a C, Mabbutt, M-A-B-B-U-T-T.
And I'm going to ask you, how long have you been doing this for?
I've been doing it for 16 years, and I just got reelected for another 4.
So what is it that, or I guess, when did you get the call on Sunday?
I got the call just a few minutes after noon that there were 4 homicides, but I didn't go to the scene because of law enforcement doing their investigation first. So I didn't actually go to the scene until about 5 or 5:30.
Can you walk us through, like, for our viewers, kind of the process between when police show up and then you guys getting the bodies and doing your examinations?
Sure. Well, law enforcement goes through and looks for any evidence, takes videos and pictures of everything in there, and they'll start talking with people. So I don't really need to be there for that. They can't move the bodies. I mean, the bodies have to stay as they were until the coroner gets there. So that's what my job is, to
And
look at
then
the bodies.
As a coroner, do you guys do the autopsies and all that?
No, we some do if they're an actual medical examiner, but we have forensic pathologists and we contract with Spokane to do that.
So in your experience, what is it that you saw when you showed up?
Well, there was a lot of blood. It was a very sad scene with 4 murdered college students.
You're ruling all 4 deaths homicides?
Yes.
Okay. And can you give us a manner of death? Yeah.
I believe that the press release was that they were from a sharp object. So
stabbings.
Yeah, I will know more after the autopsies tomorrow.
And do you believe this could be like a murder-suicide or?
No, there are 4 homicides.
4 homicides. Okay. And when it comes to doing the investigation post-autopsy, that falls on you, correct?
Yes. It's my job to determine the manner and mechanism of death.
And then I know with toxicology results, there can often be, at least in Washington, a delay. So do you have any idea how long it could take, if those were relevant, to get any type of results back on that?
Well, the toxicology reports, right, they usually take 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes longer. But they might, I don't think they're going to be relevant in the actual manner. or cause of death.
And do we know how long between the time of death and when police found them, approximately?
No, I don't know for sure.
Do we have like any, like, could it have been hours? Could it have been a day? Was it maybe close? Like, is there any sort of like time frame there?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, gotcha.
And you said the scene was really difficult. I mean, is this something you've had to deal with before in Moscow?
Since I've been coroner, there have been at least 2 other multiple homicide scenes that I've been involved in. So,
Would you say this is probably the most gruesome?
no, it's hard to just single it out. It's the only one I've been to where there have been 4 people at one scene. There have been the other ones have had multiple scenes.
And was anybody else injured, like any non-deceased people?
Not that I'm aware of, but I wouldn't necessarily be notified either.
Okay. I didn't know if that was like because the injuries could be similar, it might matter to you.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Were the deceased all in close proximity to each other, or were they in different rooms?
I don't know that I can discuss that.
That was my next question too. So I think, yeah.
Will we be able to get a copy of your report once it's concluded? I'm sure it'll be.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Just call.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you know what the time frame for that would be?
It just depends on how relevant the toxicology report is, but
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay. So it would like the 4 to 6 weeks.
it could
Okay.
be. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are they showing us her hands for any reason? Just wondering. Yeah, I wouldn't go to Idaho. But she acted like she had been rehearsed on what to say, how to say, or whatever. I don't know. They all do. Everything is, to me, seems to be rehearsed or something. I'm not real sure how to say it, but it's just like, forensic experts. What is this? Hang on, y'all. Some of this stuff I didn't watch. Some of it I did. I'm just trying to figure out and remember what the hell was said so we can put it with some of this maybe. But it's really not making sense trying to put it together. So I'm not trying to just sit here and watch different things. But I do want to try to, because nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing makes sense. I'm just trying to make it make sense. This is not going to make it make sense, but it probably is going to be more confusing, but we're going to try anyway.
Story that we have been following very closely here on Live Now from Fox. It's been 2 weeks since 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in their rooms. While police and federal agents have said they are following up on hundreds of leads, no suspects have been named, and there are still so many questions. I do want to bring in Joseph Scott Morgan. He is a forensics professor at Jacksonville State University and does have a hit podcast. Thank you so much for being here with us. We appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Joshua. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, first off, your thoughts on this case that so many people are paying so close attention to.
Well, I think the first term that comes to mind is complex, and just the sheer volume of physical evidence that's going to be found at the scene could be quite daunting for all of those involved. The biological evidence, specifically as it's related to blood evidence, and of course from that springs DNA. And so it will make matters very difficult to weed through. The trick is how well are you planned in advance for an event like this? And what resources do you have at your disposal? The rub is, however, when you're talking about a smaller jurisdiction, they're not used to handling a case of this magnitude. It's not a knock against them. That's the reality of it. It's rural America, and they don't deal with quadruple knife related or sharp force injury related homicides. Not many people do, actually. This is kind of an outlier statistically.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the questions come into play, because you don't have that many quadruple homicides that are happening in Idaho, let alone in Moscow, Idaho, involving 4 university students that are murdered there. From a forensics perspective, what might make this case a little bit more difficult or different than other murder cases?
Well, one of the things, going back to this idea of biological evidence, is what we refer to as commingling of the sample, where, they've talked at length, and you've heard a variety of different things stated relative to the weapon of choice. Hunting knife, somebody used the term Rambo knife, military style knife. Either way, if it is the same weapon, just imagine, if you will, where you have 4 victims and the same weapon is being used over and over. The first victim that you have will kind of be the standalone, where you will not have DNA from the others. But if the same weapon is being utilized, and this is just the weapon, we're not talking about DNA that the perpetrator may have left behind or anything like that. You're moving from victim to victim to victim to victim. And when this happens, there's a commingling of DNA. And so to try to unspool that and in the lab is difficult. And I just hope that nothing has been compromised at the scene. I don't have any reason to believe that it has. But just that alone makes this complex. Not to mention the fact this house has been identified on several occasions as a location where people gather. So you've got this big collective of people that kind of come in, they hang out. Let's face it, everybody in college, might have had an off-campus location they went to and, met with their friends and that sort of thing. So those individuals that have inhabited that space, whether it's in just kind of a superficial way or maybe a more intimate way, have left some essence of their self behind. When you talk about things like touch DNA, which comes about as a result of sloughing dead skin cells. We slough thousands of these things every day, and so you get a partial strand from that. The really rich DNA that you're looking for is going to come from blood evidence. And in my experience, I worked for the Coroner in New Orleans and for the ME in Atlanta for many, many years. And one of the things that happens every now and then with sharp force injuries, particularly where it's a frenzied event and they're talking about multiple stab wounds, is that the perpetrator will actually injure themselves, might not even be aware of it at the time because they're in such a heightened state. And if that happens, now you've got the perpetrator's DNA commingled in there as well.
And it does sound like there were people coming in and out of there, not just in general, but maybe over the hours after the killings actually happened. Could that have contaminated anything at the scene? I know that's kind of a general question that you necessarily can't speak to as far as this specific case, but overall, could that have tampered with anything?
Well, yeah, anytime you introduce another person into this environment, they're bringing along with them their DNA. And just to wax kind of academic for a second, we have to understand, kind of our godfather within forensics is a gentleman named Edmond Lecard. And he came up with something called his contact theory. And it basically states that every contact leaves a trace. Now, he came up with that over 100 years ago. It's pretty fascinating when you think about it nowadays. But he understood even at that point in time, before we had DNA technology, that every time an individual introduces himself into what we would consider to be a pristine scene, they're bringing something with them. Even if it's the police officers, you might have mud on your shoes. You might have some other trace evidence that's coming from your car, even maybe a fiber from the seat of your car or from your home that you introduce in there. So you've got kind of all of these issues that, when you start to look at it from mathematical perspective, it kind of builds out like that exponentially, and it's something that you have to factor into everything that you do, and that's what they're doing right now. It does not surprise me, Joshua, that it's taking them this long. I think that they're being very careful. They've got fantastic resources at their disposal with just the folks at the FBI lab, not to mention the people with the Idaho State.
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of money selling yoga mats and toasters. And
police as well.
Why do you think so many people across the country are paying such close attention to this case? It is high profile now. And I mean, there's articles released about it pretty much on an hourly basis. People are talking about it on social media a lot. Why might that be?
It's the stuff of nightmares. And I think that, when you begin to think that you're sending your child off to college, and then suddenly you have this, this mysterious perpetrator that comes through the door and wipes out, certainly 3 of the 6 people that are permanently domiciled there, 3 of the 5 that are permanently domiciled there. And then you've got this one young man who happened to be there as well. It is the stuff of nightmares. And that, I think, from my experience with true crime, that's one of the things that fascinates people, because this is not something that happens necessarily in a vacuum. It's something that, many people, particularly those that have kids, can identify with. And they're thinking, is my child safe wherever they are? And the fact that no one has been caught, it's, when you look at the pool of potential suspects, this is not a big metropolis, right? People know one another up there. And so you begin to think, do we know this individual that has perpetrated something that's so markedly horrific? If, I think we've heard little snips of this along the way relative to the police, and some of the other people there. I think even the prosecutor, as he's famously walking down the street, he's given this interview kind of over his shoulder, corner. They talked about the level of violence that was there. And, I got to be honest, I was kind of taken back by the fact that they had released that information, that we had that much information, but we do know that the scene is quite ghastly. So I think that kind of captures the imagination of the people out there that are following this case and cases that are similar to it, Joshua.
In your opinion, any mess ups here, any problems that investigators might have caused in this case? Because as you mentioned, they're not necessarily used to dealing with such a high profile case in Moscow, Idaho. Have you seen anything that stuck out to you?
There was something that was mentioned along the way that, kind of piqued my interest, I think, as a former medical legal death investigator, which means, you work for the medical examiner and the coroner. You're the eyes and the ears of the medical examiner out in the field. For me, what it was I think that the coroner was not allowed access to the body for some time. That's not an uncommon practice. Where the problem is this: one of the things that we try to do at scenes when it comes to the examination of remains is to begin the measurement of what's referred to as postmortem interval. So, and that's things like that everybody's heard of, like rigor mortis, okay? And then there's some other things like postmortem lividity, which is the settling of blood, and algor mortis, which is another term for the cooling that takes place after death. And we have these kind of measured scientific benchmarks that we look at, depending upon the environmental conditions that you're in. You have to examine the body within that. And so the further down the timeline you move, you lose that data. And one of the key things here, Joshua, is the fact that timeline is an issue, isn't it? They want to try to understand. So, we can judge things like the rigidity of human remain, to what degree has fixation began in the joints relative to rigor mortis and settling of blood. And so any delay in the time that the coroner may have had to get there and examine those elements could be problematic. Of course, we don't fully understand what type of trace evidence she would have encountered making her way to the body. So they have to do this balancing act. Is it worth it to have the evidence, the physical evidence, compromised because of the position of the body, to allow her to do this? Or is it better that we just allow her to get to it after we've collected everything that we possibly can? Again, back to Lacards, every contact leaves a trace. And so that can certainly be an issue as well.
All right, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Anything else that you want to make sure to mention before we let you go?
I think I plead with everybody to please be patient with these folks out there. They're doing everything that they can at this moment in time, and it's important that you just take a step back and understand they're under the gun. They're aware that they're under the gun. At least their managers are. I hope that that doesn't make it down to the rank and file officer or agent that's processing this, that they can kind of shut all of that out, really remain focused on what they have to do. They don't need any further outstanding distractions and that sort of thing, because the more their little world is compromised in this violence that has taken place, it's going to impede their ability to move this case forward and try to identify who did this and get them off the streets.
And before I let you go, do you think they do already have a suspect or suspects in mind and probably know who did this?
I have no way of knowing. I would hope that they would have gone through, and I would imagine they would have, say, for instance, like the CODIS database, locally, just to identify anybody that might be in that environment that might be identified as a predator. If they have that already ramped up, if they find an unknown DNA sample, they can plug that into the database and see if they come back with a hit. And not to mention, it's good old-fashioned shoe leather on the part of the investigators, where they're going door to door. And one of the problems that are, as a college professor, I can speak to this. One of the problems that arises is, and this is quite striking, is the fact that, remember, as this horrific slaughter took place, kids had already been eyeballing, the students had already been eyeballing Thanksgiving vacation coming up. They already had plans to leave. So unlike a regular population, where people are kind of seated in that location, they live there and that sort of thing, that's not what the university is like. It's kind of transient. So you've already got people that are looking to get back home. Well, this stimulus is added to that, is factored in. And now, even by the admission of the president, when he gave one of his comments, he said, look, I know people are scared. Some people might not come back. We're going to go ahead and set things up for online classes, and that's all fine and good. But here's the problem. Even if you are a peripheral player in this, that you didn't directly know these individuals that were slaughtered, you might have some kind of knowledge, something that you heard, something that you saw, that if the police were eye to eye with you and they were communicating with you, they could elicit that information from you, and it would go to painting a better picture, a better picture. Now you've got kids that are scared. Some might not come back. Well, you don't know if therein lies the key. There was also, I think, and this has to be factored in as well, there's an opportunity for potentially the perpetrator to have slipped out of town as well, because you've got this kind of mass exodus. If we are to believe what we've heard, I've heard the term ghost town used a lot, and generally over Thanksgiving vacation is a time when that happens. Nobody wants to be there any longer. They have to be. They want to get back to their family. The trick is, we're back in session now. How many kids have come back? Is there a noticeable, number that have kind of chosen not to? And the police are going to have, kind of their work level is going to be amped up, because they're going to have to reach out to those people that chose not to come back. And also, we're so far down the road now, over 2 weeks, memories go cold. Even that short period of time, things that might have been fresh at that moment in time aren't so fresh now.
All right, Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you so much.
Y'all, News Nation just come out with a thing too that we're going to watch real quick. But that whole thing was planned for that time too, I think. There's a reason that it was right there before Thanksgiving break and all that stuff, in my opinion. This was not something that was just, let me play any, mini, mighty, mo and go into somebody's house. Like, that's so stupid. That was not done. Yeah, I don't go to states that begin with I at all. Especially the luck I have. Trisha just stays away. But this is only a few minutes. It's like 3 minutes or whatever, but I want to hear what they have to say just because. Hang on, y'all.
Chilling text messages released in the Idaho student murders case, revealing key moments the night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered in 2022. The haunting texts are from the 2 surviving roommates while trying to reach their friends inside the apartment they shared, not yet knowing they were brutally murdered. The accused killer, Brian Koberger, making a new claim that could help him avoid execution by firing squad if he's convicted. Senior national correspondent Brian Inton is live. And Brian, you spoke with the father of one of the victims in all of this. How is he reacting?
Yeah, he's stunned. I mean, they're emotional. These text messages, the 911 call transcript just released yesterday as the judge has said that he wants to keep less of the evidence secret. So this may just be the beginning of more information we learn. The texts, they really paint a picture of how horrified the surviving roommates were as they text each other about someone being inside the house. Roommate Dylan Mortensen repeatedly tried calling her roommate Bethany Funk, as well as Anna Cornodal, Kaylee Goncalves, and Madison Mogan. Now, these are the texts between 4:22 and 4:24 a.m. You've got Dylan texting Bethany, no one is answering. I'm really confused right now. Then there's a text to Kaylee Goncalves that says, Kaylee, what's going on? Yeah, dude, WTF. Xana was wearing all black. They're apparently talking about who they saw wearing all black. I'm freaking out right now. No, it's like a ski mask almost. STFU. Shut the F up. Actually, like he had something over his forehead and little end mouth. So they're talking about what they're seeing, the intruder in the house. I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out. So am I, Bethany says to Dylan. My phone is going to die. F. Come to my room, run down here. So you can imagine what these girls must have been going through in that moment.
That word on there.
Victim Kaylee Goncalves' dad and family attorney about the text, and also the 911 call transcript that details the roommates finding Kaylee Goncalves unresponsive. Take a listen to this.
What struck me is, it's not like Hollywood. It's not a scripted thing. It's not like what you would see on a TV set. That was a raw, emotional breakdown of 2 girls that were scared for their life.
And Steve Goncalves said that he is upset with the prosecution because there was no warning that the text and 911 call were going to be released. And obviously it was traumatic for them to have to learn about it through the media.
All right.
Nicole?
So, Brian, what more can you tell us about the defense trying to get the death penalty dropped and then some of the other new requests to the judge?
Yeah, there's been a lot of requests. They continue to try to have the death penalty taken off the table, Nicole. Now they're saying that it should be tossed because Brian Koberger is on the autism spectrum. The judge is yet to rule on that, and also knew they are asking for words such as murder, psychopath, sociopath, and even bushy eyebrows not to be allowed during the trial. Remember, bushy eyebrows, that's the description that Dylan Mortensen gave of the masked intruder. But according to Koberger's attorneys, it is unreliable and should be excluded. So it'll be interesting to see which way the judge rules on those issues.
Absolutely. All right, Brian, thank you. Thanks for.
Y'all, and I just found something about a firing squad in South Carolina we're going to watch because I think it's important. But Kaylee They said, did he mean Xana? Oh my God. See, that makes me, never mind. Well, that's what I'm saying, because they didn't know supposedly what was in that 911 call. But the first of that interview, we watched that, and the first thing Steve said was his wife did not want the 911 call to come out. Why? So that's confusing. But y'all, look what I found. Hang on.
Ready?
Today, South Carolina is preparing to carry out its first ever execution by firing squad. Death row inmate Brad Sigmund choosing that method over other available options. It will be the first time in 15 years that a firing squad has been used here in the U.S. Sigmund was convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend's parents back in 2001. And News Nation's Alex Capriello joins us live. Alex, you had a chance to sit down with Sigmund's attorney. What is he saying now that we're just hours before that scheduled execution?
Right at this point, Nicole, convicted murderer Brad Sigmund is all alone. The last time he made contact with his attorney was yesterday afternoon, but I am told that he's made peace with what's to come here in just under 4 hours. Now, that being said, that attorney team is still trying to go through any last-ditch effort to either receive a judicial stay or receive the governor's granting of clemency, which would, of course, halt that execution in its tracks as we speak. As for Sigmund, he is convicted of murdering his ex-girlfriend's parents 24 years ago using a baseball bat to beat them to death. That crime receiving national attention due to its graphic nature and also the fact that his girlfriend, who was kidnapped, was able to escape from his clutches and seek help. We now also know the details of how this execution will unfold. 3 riflemen will stand 15 feet away, each with live ammunition, and aim at a target over Sigmund's heart. Given the ongoing shortage of drugs used for lethal injections, this execution method could be utilized for other death row inmates in America moving forward. It's important to note, Sigmund actually chose to die by firing squad over the electric chair or lethal injections. But his attorney argues that's only because the last 3 executions in South Carolina from lethal injection were botched, and his client didn't have enough time or information to choose the most humane method to end his life. Take a listen to his attorney.
So Mr. Sigmund was in the position of having to choose between the firing squad, which has never been used in South Carolina, hasn't been used in the United States in 15 years, or the prospect of dying over 20 minutes while strapped to a gurney while your lungs fill up with fluid and blood. And having seen this happen with 3 men that he knew very well, many considered brothers, that was not a choice that he could bring himself to make.
Some family members of the victims will be in attendance to watch this execution get carried out. That includes the grandson of the 2 people killed, who spoke to USA Today saying, quote, "He's going to pay for what he's done. He took away 2 people who would have done anything for their family. They were the rock of our family. They didn't deserve it." Only 5 states allow executions to be carried out by firing squad. That includes Mississippi, Oklahoma, Utah, Idaho, and now South Carolina. And only 3 executions have been carried out by firing squad since 1977. The last one, 15 years ago, that's Rodney Lee Gardner. Nicole.
All right, and Alex, you mentioned that 15 years ago, last firing squad execution. I know you had an exclusive interview. You talked to the brother of the man who was killed. What did you learn?
Well, I learned that time does not heal all wounds, Nicole. Sitting down with Randy Gardner, he told me that he is now a very vocal opponent of the death penalty. He recalled what it was like that day that his brother was executed in the media circus that surrounded that Utah prison. Similar to today, at that time, there hadn't been a firing squad execution in 14 years. I asked him about the death penalty and the fact that these inmates are actually receiving a sentence that many times the victims' family members want to see carried out. Here's a portion of that exclusive interview.
What do you say to your opponents who say an eye for an eye?
Makes the world go blind. You know, it don't make sense. It's the same thing. Why do we kill people who kill people that show that killing is wrong? To me, it's a real moral issue, and I think it should be for everybody. Why would someone want to kill somebody else?
Today's execution marks the 6th one that's planned over the next 3 weeks. The other states that will be carrying out these executions include Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Florida. And they're going to be a variety of methods, Nicole. That includes both lethal injection and, in the case of Louisiana, a death by suffocation from a gas chamber. Nicole.
All right, Alex Capriello live for us there in South Carolina.
Okay. I have different opinions of this. In a circumstantial case, I'm not real sure whether I believe in the death penalty. If they know that somebody's done something horrific, and especially to kids and all this kind of stuff, then that's one thing if it can be proven. But like, I just don't know about choosing no firing squad. That just hurts me. And I'm not saying these people should get away with hurting anybody else. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the whole thing makes me a little dizzy. Just a little dizzy. And even if I was somebody's family member, I couldn't watch somebody else. I don't want to watch anybody. Like, that is not, I can't. I mean, that would just trigger all kind of, whatever. I can't do that. That's weird. I can't. That man chose that, though. That's crazy. Yeah, again, this is my opinion. And everybody's allowed to have their opinion. So my opinion, speculation, those texts were staged like that. I don't think that, I don't know. They don't make any sense to me. Half of, like, you can tell there's stuff left out. I don't know. It's just weird. There's stuff left out. It's not, I don't know. It doesn't make sense. The 911 call makes less sense to me. So, well, I mean, I don't know. I think they were trying to say Ethan, or no, that one was, I don't know. One might have been Evan. The other one, I think, where they missed it, and I think it was supposed to say Ethan, I think, but I don't know. The state can't change the damn timeline again. They married themselves to that, the damn car, and the damn phone. They've married themselves to all that shit. So I wish they would, in my opinion. But the thing is, and I could be wrong, and if I am, then I will say I'm wrong, but I got to be proved that way first. I think that those girls were told when to text, sort of what to text, and what time to do it. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. The fact that Dylan called her dad DM, what the fuck ever we're calling them today. DM called her dad at 11:30 that morning, before even 20 minutes before law enforcement was called. That's weird to me. That's weird. I wonder what other calls were made. I wonder, because I'm telling y'all, I don't think that there were not other calls made. And yeah, they've been hollering that timeline. So I don't even want to hear it because whatever fucking car they've got that they are saying that I don't think is his car, that they're going to use his seatbelt ticket to try to prove is his car, which is absolutely absurd. I don't know. I don't know what she did, but the fact that they were saying run, or Bethany was telling her to run down to the room. The Xana wearing all black didn't make any sense because you didn't hear nothing else about that except now there's some dude in a mask. Xana is not taller than Dylan, I don't think. I'm just saying their names. Shit, everybody knows them. Whatever. Has the defense tested that DNA? Do they even have that DNA? I mean, I'm confused still about that. Dressed in all black. I mean, Jesus Christ. Number one, they're playing pranks. Steve G even said they play pranks with real knives and shit. Why wouldn't they say, wouldn't he tell his daughter that's not real smart to do? Well, she was probably in a damn black dress, not a mask. I mean, I'm confused. That's what I figured she was in, a black dress. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's not tall, athletic. Yeah, she was probably in a black dress. I mean, that wouldn't surprise me at all. Or black, what the fuck ever they wear to these parties. I don't know. But the issue is this. They play pranks on each other with real knives dressed in masks and stuff. Nobody told them that wasn't safe to do. I mean, I'm just confused because my mama would have been flipping out like, what the hell? No, you don't do that. I don't care if I was 21 or 41. I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. It would be like, what the fuck are you doing? That's not normal. That's just not normal. Yeah, Heather, it does sound like. Is there a news seg? Or how do I look that up for what happened in October 2021? Because I don't know if I watched that all. I can't remember. My brain is fuzzy. I don't know. I just think they redacted some of the stuff. Yeah, I think Bethany was talking about what Xana was wearing at the damn party. I don't know that she was wearing that, you know. But Heather, what was that thing that happened in Pullman? Where did you say it happened? In October 2021? Let me see if I can find that. Was it stabbings? Hell, there's something happened in 1999 too. Woman stabbed in Pullman apartment, 2 WSU students. Okay. Oh. There it is. 2 women reported being followed in Pullman over the weekend, October 2021. Hang on. I'm trying to find it, y'all. Hang on. I can't find a damn video. Wait a minute. Kane, did you send that? Hang on. Now let me get over here to this thing. Hang on, y'all. What the hell is this? Wait a minute, I'll show y'all this. Kane just shared this. Miss Potts put it up. Hang on. What the fuck? This is crazy. Is that fireman? Oh my God. I can't. Well, they're holding. Never mind. Shut up, Trisha. I don't know what to say about that. I just don't know what to say. We're just going to leave it on screen, and I just don't know what to say. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't call somebody. Can somebody explain why she was calling the damn private driver, Uber driver, whatever driver this man was? And also, oh God, that's great, Kane. And also, why did she call her dad at 11:30, whatever time it was? That DoorDash is so, never mind. That is a fucking red herring if there was one, just like the car. Just like I did not deep dive in that car because when everybody kept on and these pictures and these tires were not on the road, I could not. I was like, I don't know what the hell y'all are looking for, but this car, I just could not get down with the car. To me, that and her saying that about Xana, it's like it kind of to y'all. I'm sorry. This is all my opinion, and if I'm wrong, I will get on here and say I'm wrong. I will stand in front of the news nation that I don't even like half of them and say I'm wrong. But I don't think Dylan saw anything she said she saw. I think they know who was in the house. My opinion. I think what Dylan described was stuff around the house. I mean, I don't know why, but anyway. And the 911 call or the text timeline doesn't make sense because didn't they say that Bethany had already testified something to hearing an argument going on and all this stuff and more than one person and yada, 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 yada. Well, Heather, I literally had to make things go away that were showing me thumbnails that said Brian Koberger's DNA found under Maddie Mogan's fingernails. I hit the 3 little dots and said, don't show me this shit again. Don't show me this shit again. Because I cannot. I don't know who it was. I didn't care who it was. I didn't want to know who it was. Because I don't want to have to go to their place where their safe zone is. Like, this is my safe zone. If you don't like what I say, don't come here. Because I would have to go. And I didn't want to have to go tell them that they're stupid and quit lying. So I just clicked the 3 dots and said, don't show me this shit no more. But they're trying to make shit line up with their narrative, but it looks more and more stupid to me as they go. Because it's not showing, it doesn't point to Brian Koberger. I'm confused at where any of this is pointing to Brian Koberger. We're going to have a trial with all this evidence, yes. And all of it's going to point away from Brian Koberger. So Idaho is letting a $2 million, by the time we get done with this trial, go with all of these exhibits pointing away from the person that is on trial. That makes sense why. And yes, it does make them look guilty. I was going to say 67 devices, and I forgot about that. See, they're making me forget about all the other things they said. 67 devices. Where the hell did they get 67 devices from? How many people were in that fucking house? What was going on at the 1112 house? Anybody? What was going on at the frat house? Y'all, I don't even think, listen to me. Again, my opinion. I am not trying to take away that they might have been freaked out. Unfortunately, in a text message, you can't really tell. But even from their text message, from the 911 call, they weren't freaked out. They're passing the phone around because they don't want to be the one telling somebody something. If I called 911 and saw Xana the way I saw her, because as soon as the cop come in, he said, I think we have a homicide. No, you've got 4. You just don't know it yet. You're not passing the phone around. You're fucking screaming, my fuck unresponsive. What is this blood doing everywhere? What is this looking like? I mean, what the fuck? Y'all, this is like a bad script play. No, they're saying she's unconscious. Unconscious. Listen to me. I don't give a shit. The proof is in the cop coming in there saying, I think we have a homicide. Unfortunately, you got 3 more. You just don't know it yet. I think you got big homicide. I think you got, like, why are they passing the fucking phone around? None of them passed out. None of them passed out. I knew they didn't. I didn't think they did. I was like, they didn't pass out. Nobody didn't pass out. Because she done called her daddy, which is suspicious as hell to me. 20 minutes before 911's called. They talking about rigmiga, that shit that sets in. Honey, by the time the coroner got there, I mean, shit, it's done been 12 hours. What? Yeah, the person that passed out, they knew was not passed out. I'm sorry. I'm calling, I'm going to say it. People can get mad if they want to. Poor whoever. I'm so tired of poor this person because you know what? Yeah. They were scared. They didn't go to sleep. Shitting me. I cannot. This is what I'm saying. My mama, maybe it's just my mama was crazy. There's no way. I don't give a shit about no money. I don't give a shit about no lawyer. I don't give a shit about the FBI, the CIA, anybody. Jesus at that point might not be able to stop her. Okay? She would not be sitting there. I'm confused at why nobody's screaming anything, but I'm having a hard time understanding. If this shit makes sense to you, I don't know what to say. I'm not sure. If it makes sense to you and you can explain it where it makes sense to me, please do it. Well, we don't even know if they were in the same room. Y'all, I think they were in the same room texting. I think that they were told what time to send these texts and about what to send. And if they showed all of them, we would see that. But I can already see it because I've already thought that anyway for a while. Just like I knew that Dylan called the fucking Uber driver. I said that in one of my readings. I told y'all why in one of my readings. That she called the Uber driver or private driver or what the fuck ever. I've already said that because I knew that. And that's before it came out. That's why I wasn't shocked. I was just like, well, there it is. I would rather be wrong about that. I hope I'm wrong about all of it. I don't think that she did it by herself, but I mean, you know what? I don't know. I don't think she, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even going to say she did anything. Why did she call? what I got was she didn't know if Kaylee and Maddie were home yet or whatever. It was something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'm trying to remember exactly, but she was trying to see something about when they got home or whatever, something. It was something that she was trying to discuss with him about timing. I can't remember exactly what. And that may not be all the way right. I'm not saying that it's right, everything that I said she called. I just knew that she called him. I don't know why. I felt that before I even started the reading. I said that, and I said this could be wrong, but I just feel like, because somebody had said, I can't remember, y'all, this is alleged because I cannot remember who, what. I just remember it being said that she called Kaylee and Maddie. And I said, I don't think she called them. She might have texted them and asked them something, but I think she called the driver to find out maybe what time he dropped them off or something even. Because I really feel like their timing, they were told when to text each other about what. That's what I think. My opinion. And as far as the dog barking, they could have let somebody else in. Like, the dog could be barking for many different reasons. They might have had that dog shut up while stuff was going on. And then to make a timeline, and I know this sounds crazy as shit, but it can't sound as crazy as their shit. So I'm just saying, you can make a dog, like, if you get somebody in there they don't really know or whatever, bark. And they could have put them outside to bark, so that makes the time. And I know that sounds crazy, but it don't sound. I ain't said this before. I've thought that before too. I haven't said it because it sounded absolutely crazy. Well, I don't feel so fucking crazy now because look what the hell we're reading. So I don't feel crazy. I can be wrong though, but I don't feel crazy. Those are all the things I got. That dog was there. They just had him, like, you know what I mean? I just think what I think. But now I don't feel crazy saying it because, you know. And they could have put him outside to bark at that time so that he's barking at that time. Idaho 4 case. The case where the college students got, well, we're not sure with what, something. Some sharp object. But that's what I'm saying. This was planned. And now that these text messages, I did not think these text messages were going to come out like that. Like, literally, this looks rehearsed. That's all. Girl, everybody's confused about the case. Don't worry about being confused. We all are. Well, I don't think we're confused. I think that it's hard for us to, I think most of us know, maybe not exactly who did it, but the surroundings of it, but it's wild. Yeah, and I think it was, or I think that's what I'm saying. Like, that 4chan stuff, it's not that I didn't believe anything. I believe somebody knew something, but now I'm really curious to know what those kids' phones were doing. Because if all those kids' phones were on YouTube and them damn phones were sitting still, we got a problem. Yes. Yes, we just found out he was autistic, but we don't think he's done it. Well, right now, I say he did. I didn't say this till that transcript come out, and Brett Payne testified and said nobody said it was Brian's DNA. At that point, I threw my hands up in there and I said, all right, I'm done with this. Because I would never say he was innocent because I don't know. I was not there. I still was not there. So I 100% cannot swear, like, on my life, I guess, that he's innocent, but everything they have is pointing away from him. So I don't know, but I just feel like they were kind of told what to say. And we can tell stuff is missing from the text messages because some of them don't make sense. I don't like, I want to see, and I don't like watching mainstream stuff. Most of the time when I watch it with y'all because I get so mad by myself that I need other people to be mad because I don't like it. But I just want to see what these people are saying because some of them, somebody said Vinnie Politan, whatever the hell his name was changing his stance on some stuff. I just want to see what these people are saying because somebody's got to be questioning something about these, anything. I think. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. I would think. I'm so confused. Okay, so this is Court TV, and I don't usually watch Vinnie Politan, but I want to know. We're not watching this whole hour and something, I'm sure, but I just want to watch some of it so we can get a gist of what he's saying now. Who is saying it with him? Because I want to see. I don't know who the hell these people are, but we're going to see. We're not going to watch all of it. I don't think I can handle all of it, but I just want to see what he's saying. Because somebody's got to be saying something. I don't know who Jonesy here. Y'all might know who these people are. I don't know who these other people are, but yeah. Hang on. Did it share? Oh, shit. What did I do? Wait a minute. Okay. Hang on. Uno momento. Yeah, it's somebody named Jonesy and some, I can't even see that name, Alex something. Hang on.
Welcome to the Tangent Podcast. Big show coming up today. We're talking about the roommates' text messages, the 911 call in the Idaho 4 case involving the 4 University of Idaho students. The defendant obviously facing the ultimate punishment in this case that will be going to trial later this year. Jury selection slated for August. So these text messages really put together a timeline. We're going to go through it today. I am Vinnie Politan. Below me, Al Wunsch III. Below him, the radio legend Jonesy. And this is the Tangent Podcast.
Vinny and the Tangents, True Crime Podcast. Vinny has the blue eyes, Al cracks the jokes. Jonesy stays behind his shades, entertaining all folks. It's Vinny and the Tangents, True Crime Podcast. Load up all your comments, hit those super chats. Let's go smash that like button so we can all have a blast. Vinny, Al, and Jonesy on the job. They're the Sugar Hill Gang of true crime. They're telling stories of days gone by. They take crime and turn into a good old time. It's Vinny and the Tangents, True Crime Podcast.
There we go, the True Crime Podcast. Today, I believe, simulcasting on Court TV's YouTube channel. Of course, my YouTube channel. We are on Twitch. We are on X. And, of course, Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook. There you go, folks. We are everywhere. The Tangent Podcast, really a big show today that we have going on. A lot of moving parts. So we're going to get into it pretty quickly today. But I just wanted to go through a couple other little things. You may notice that we look a little different today. We've upgraded the look of the show. You know, what do you think, Jonesy? You liking the new look of the show?
I love being encircled.
Folks, Jonesy has not been hitting the sauce. I believe that his Wi-Fi is just a little wonky today. Jonesy, can you hear us?
Jonesy, can you hear me? I can hear you now.
All right, excellent. There we go. We are back in business. So let's get and for those of you who don't know the story, this is the biggest true crime story in America. This is the biggest trial that we're tracking at Court TV. Jury selection is slated for August of this year. The trial may take about 3 months. You're talking about what began as a mystery. Investigators believe they have solved it, but this defendant claims he has an alibi. He's claimed his innocence. So we're going to get into it. Now, I think the first big surprise when we were covering this story was when we found out there were surviving roommates. That 4 young people lost their lives, but there were 2 surviving roommates. And to me, that became part of the mystery here. Like, how did that happen? What happened? And, where were they? And I think the more we learned about the house, it started to make a little more sense. But that was shocking that there were, this house of absolute horror and tragedy, but there are 2 survivors.
Well, you know what, Vinny, and first of all, hola, Tangenistas, and greetings. It takes a lot. I mean, this is terrible, but it takes a lot of energy to manipulate a knife on 4 individuals and fight with 4 individuals, and then come downstairs and then you see 2 other individuals, or see that there may be 2 other individuals down there, and it takes a lot of energy. I mean, I take a look at this guy. He seems like he's got a decent build. I don't know how athletic he is, but nonetheless, it takes a lot of energy to be in that kind of a rumble. And he may just have been too tired to do anything else. Also, since this guy had some sort of a background with regards to criminology, he may have thought, listen, I've spent too much time here. I have to get out. Okay, because if you ever watch these different series and everything else, the first thing they do is they have a timed response. They always look to see their watch to say, listen, if someone called 911, it will take exactly 8 minutes and 14 seconds for the vehicle to, for a police vehicle to arrive. So he may have thought he'd been there too long and then needed to get out in order to protect himself from being stopped.
We need to talk. It's not you. It is you.
And the other part of this is we're looking the image we have up here. These are 2 of the victims, Kaylee and Maddie. So they're up on the top floor of the home, and I think a lot of people believe that they may very well have been the targets of the assailant. And part of the reason is when you go to the house, when it used to be there, and you go behind the house, and we saw this very clearly, Chanley Painter and Cody Thomas both went out there for us. You could see their windows. If you went up in this back area, and it looks, that's the area where a car was seen going. So sort of behind the house, but the house was set on a hill. So when you went up the hill behind it, you were even with that top floor, which is where Kaylee and Maddie were. And you could tell perhaps when the light was turned off and it was time for them to go to sleep, right? Like you would have seen that the light was out. And then if you enter through the sliding glass door, which is in the middle level, you would go through there and then upstairs. And then you have to come back down to that middle level, which is where Xana and Ethan lost their lives on his way out. So it may have been a case where he only intended 2, came across 2 more on that middle floor. And then as he's leaving for the final time out of the home, that's when one of the surviving roommates says she sees him and sees a man, dressed in all black, ski mask, and notices really focusing on the eyebrow, and not even eyebrows. If you read the statements to police, she really focused on a bushy eyebrow, and that's what sort of stuck in her mind. The question is, did he see her, or did she only see him? That, we don't know. We don't know the answer to that. But to me, if he doesn't see her, that could explain how she survived. But if he did see her, I think Al's explanation makes a lot of sense, Jonesy.
Yeah. Who's to say, what was going on in this fellow's mind?
at
It's
that
just,
point.
it's,
But
it's,
I think the best point you made, Al, I think the time frame. You want to get out. How long can you stay?
but also, like I said, it's not like you're shooting someone. I mean, a knife situation is very personal. It is requiring a significant amount of strength, and from the fact that there is DNA in the fingernails of one of the victims, that so they fight back, and they may have fought back. One of the victims was a male that may have fought back. So it takes a lot out of you when you physically to do that type of a thing 4 times, and it's thank God for those those,
because there would be an intense Xana, who was on this night, sin
nice note in a horrible situation that at least 2 people survived. But it's I can't imagine for the life of me, after taking down 4 people, you'd have the energy to be able to take down another 2 and still get out before any authorities arrive or anything along those lines.
So I want to start going through a little bit of the timeline that was revealed in a filing.
Well, the adrenaline had to be through the roof.
Yeah. A filing by prosecutors where they are going to try to get certain information into the case, and it's it's exceptions. We could sit here and spend the next hour talking about the rules of evidence, but I think we want to get into the timeline itself, and maybe in another podcast we'll talk about the legal rules and how you can get this sort of evidence in. But the headline is that we're really seeing this stuff for the first time. So in the case at bar, starting on November 13th at 2:10 and 29 DM, which is the surviving roommate Dylan, text message to EG, the Uber driver, to inquire if he is driving. The state submits this text message as not hearsay because it will not be offered for the truth of the matter asserted. Instead, it will be offered to show a timeline of the night. So DM, who is this surviving roommate, who is the one who saw the bushy eyebrow, was awake and texting at 2:10 from 4:19 to 4:21. DM attempts to call BF, who is the other surviving roommate, Bethany, Xana, Kaylee, and Madison. All calls unanswered. Okay, 4:19 to 4:21, she's making these calls. And this apparently, I guess, is after seeing what she saw, which was this man dressed in black. The records of these calls are not hearsays. They do not meet the definition of statement, oral assertion, written assertion, or nonverbal conduct intended as an assertion. So let's put that legal stuff aside for a moment, but let's talk about what's happening now. So it looks like her first reaction after seeing this is attempting to call her roommate Bethany, who is downstairs, Xana, who is on the same floor as her, and Kaylee and Madison, who are on the top floor. So it seemed like she did react to what was happening, to what she saw. She didn't just blow it off as, oh, I don't know what this is. Like, there's a feeling that there's something is happening here.
But she didn't go far enough, unfortunately. I mean, the far enough stage would have been, I'd call 911, just, do it and go from there. She's trying to rationalize or try to, figure out whether or not indeed that's what she saw. I mean, I know that there's questions about there was partying and alcohol and things along those lines. And, she did throw something out there, but didn't go quite far enough, unfortunately.
And it's also 4:00 in the morning. Okay. The closest that I have for an experience like this is there have been a few times in the course of my life with diabetes where I've woken up in the middle of the night with an extreme low blood sugar, right? And when that happens, as you both know, and I think most of the audience knows, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. So I've never been high. I've never been drunk. So I don't know what that does to you. But I do know that my mind gets altered with a low blood sugar. Things aren't making sense. And when I woke up in the middle of the night with that low blood sugar, it was difficult for me to distinguish between reality and a dream, because there would be an intense dream that would sort of wake me up, but I'm telling you, it was a very strange experience where I couldn't tell what was real and what was a dream until perhaps the next day when I had a moment, feeling perfectly fine to reflect on it. But in the moment, I couldn't tell what was what. And I've got to imagine that's kind of what's going on here, because she's, this is 4:00 in the morning.
That's even the more particularly odd part of this. 4:00 in the morning, there's someone in the house you don't know. You know your roommates, okay? You know their peccadillos, you know what they do, you know the things along those lines. And there's somebody in the house that you don't recognize. And there's somebody in the house that's dressed in black. And there's someone in the house that's got a mask on. To not go to the next step is, it's a tragedy that's not what happened. I don't fault her. Because, there, but for the grace of God, who knows how you react in that situation. And it's just that, it's something that should be instilled in kids forever. Just listen, when in doubt, call it out, do the 911 and just, then the cops come. What's the worst thing that can happen? The cops come and they get, oh, okay, it was a false alarm. But you know what? Better that than what happened here. So
it wouldn't have prevented anything that happened.
But you know what though, Vin? It would have perhaps got him caught. It would have perhaps got him within the vicinity of the area. It wouldn't have taken as long to identify him.
Maybe,
you're talking about an area that is going to
be not like he's on his way out. It'll take him a minute. It'll take him a minute to get to his car, and then it'll take another 45 seconds to get out of Dodge.
And if you get an all points bulletin that goes out, okay, to be on the lookout. Be on the lookout.
You don't know the kind of car at that moment. You don't know. It
doesn't matter. You're going to stop every vehicle in the vicinity. Okay, they're going to stop every vehicle in the vicinity. All right, it's any type of a situation. We've had 4 individuals red-rummed. A person is taken off. We don't know in what direction. You're going to be able to close off roads. You're going to be able to set up, a situation where you can have vehicles come by and you can inspect the vehicles. So, it would have happened, and they would have done a 15 miles probably out from the scene, and then work their way in.
They ended up catching him anyway. They ended up catching him anyway.
But they would have caught him sooner, and it certainly would have left. See, the problem is now, Vin, what we have in this world is that everybody doubts everything. So everything is a conspiracy in this world. Okay, there's no such thing as. There's a special on tonight regarding Manson on Netflix. Okay, as to whether or not it was really him doing this, or was it the government that was putting these ideas into his head because they needed to, figure out how to do mind control with people and things like. So there is a conspiracy for everything nowadays, and in a case that should have been clear cut, this is the guy who done it. If they had caught him within the vicinity of that evening, there'd be no doubt. Now,
I still think it's an extremely strong case. Oh, check this out from the Glarer.
Oh,
okay, Vinny, I'm not going to hold you to saying Karen Reed is innocent, but at least admit she's being railroaded. I know you want to, and I know you know it. But Glarer, I've been saying this out loud when it comes to the legal, the way this thing has proceeded legally. And I spoke with the juror last night on my show on Court TV. It is clear to me that in this retrial, she should be being tried for count 2 and count 2 only. I am shocked that the state of Massachusetts has no interest in the double jeopardy aspects of this. Maybe the federal judge will. But yeah, I agree, Glarer, that at this point, this is a failure of the system. The juror told me firsthand that they did not understand it. And there was actual discussion within the jury room about whether or not they could. And the majority of them outnumbered the minority of them. So they did not end up, they got it wrong. They got it wrong. And why should a jury get procedure and instructions wrong? Right? The verdict they figure out, but the procedures and instructions is what they got wrong in that case. And as a result, you've got someone who has to defend herself twice on red rum charges, which to me is outrageous. Glare, is that enough for Glare? I think that should be enough. No comment from Al, because that's going to take us out on a whole nother show. Let's
a
stay
whole other
here.
show, exactly. And and I've been working on the railroad.
All right, let's continue on the timeline here. So here they're establishing.
Hey, you can carry a tune.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right.
Okay, now we move to the 4 a.m. hour. So within this 4 a.m. hour, this is what everyone is talking about here. These are the text messages from 4:22 to 4:24 from the one surviving roommate to the other, back and forth. Again, Dylan on the middle floor, Bethany on the bottom floor. And Dylan writes, "No one is answering. I'm really confused." Then she sends one to her friend Kaylee, who's up on the third floor, one of the victims. "Kaylee, what's going on?" Then Bethany to Dylan, "Dude, WTF?" And then Bethany to Dylan, "Xana was wearing all black." Dylan to Bethany, "I'm freaking out." Then Dylan to Bethany, "No, it's like a ski mask almost." Then Bethany, STFU. Bethany, "Actually?" And then, so I guess there must have been more of a conversation before this, because it looks like Bethany is confused about who was wearing all black. And now Dylan's saying like he had something over his head and a little mouth. "BF, I'm not kidding. I'm so freaked out." And then Bethany, "So am I." So it appears that she's extremely freaked out speaking with her friend, like there's something going wrong. But then Dylan says, "My phone is going to die." And Bethany says, "Come to my room, run down here." So at this moment, it's clear, I think, that both realize that something very, very strange is going on.
Right. No doubt about it. So I'm looking at some of the comments, and then they're saying, well, maybe they were intoxicated, so they were afraid to call the police. That's not an excuse. First of all, there's no law against you being drunk in your house. The law is buying the alcohol or being served the alcohol, at a bar or something along those lines. If there's alcohol in your house and you're drinking, the police are not going to arrest you for being intoxicated in your own house. If you get into a car, that's a different story. The other thing is that, and in New Jersey, we have, a law that, even if the person is OD'd, okay, and you call and you say, "Listen, I think they've OD'd," as long as you stay there, when the police are there, when they arrive and the EMTs arrive and everything else, they can't arrest you for the possession of any type of CDS. There could be a mountain of cocaine on a kitchen table. You're not going to be arrested for it. Okay, because the key is you want to get that person help. If you call and then you leave, then you could be arrested. But if you stay there and wait for the police to come and everything along those lines, they're not going to arrest you. So I got to imagine it's got to be somewhat similar with regards to out there, okay, in Idaho. And what I'm saying is that you have a scenario where if they're drunk, the police are not going to be making a big deal out of this.
Yeah. Now, and it's a college campus. Like it seems like yesterday, but it wasn't that long ago. I went to college, and there was a lot of
Connecticut, right?
In my freshman dorm. Freshman dorm. What's that?
Connecticut, right? That's Stanford.
No, Stanford University, Palo Alto, California.
Oh, that
Maybe
one.
you've heard of it. Jones, have you heard of it?
Well, the drinking age. Oh, yes, I have indeed heard of it. The drinking age was also younger back then, as far as the freshman imbibing is concerned.
Not when I was there.
People can no. Okay, so yeah, that's right. I just squeaked through, and I'm a few years older than you. I just squeaked through on the younger drinking age in the state of New Jersey. I
was 19
was
in New
18,
York.
and they grandfathered it in. Well, they grandfathered it in. When you were 18, they changed the law every year to 19, 20, and then 21. But if you had already turned 18, you retained the the ability to purchase alcohol. But that's beside the point. It's easy to say what you would do in situations like this, and I often hate it because people have said it to me when I was a victim of a mugging. Well, this is what I would do, Jones. I would take out the first guy and take his weapon away. People say stuff like that, and so I'm not fond of that. But in that situation, I would call 911 out of fear.
Right.
Not only to protect my friends, but to protect
the unknown.
myself.
The unknown.
I would have been scared.
Yeah, and that's because it's obvious that they're like, she definitely knows something is not right here. Not sure what it is, and then Bethany says, "Run, run down here." So she goes down there, and they sort of, I guess, huddle together downstairs. And I think this was the confusing part initially when the story broke, which was the time of the attack and then the time that 911 was finally called, which was much, much later in the day. Here's Mallory Beavers. Thank you so much, Mallory. It's very hard to understand the lapse in judgment regarding 911, but try and remember the girls were intoxicated. It's a party house, lots of people in and out. Her brain trying to make sense of what she saw and doesn't assume the worst. Now, the other thing you need to know about this particular area is that
I came to Fortis because I wanted a career change. I have always did retail. I've been doing retail.
it's extremely safe. Like this is like a place where I think people wouldn't even lock their doors, like people who live in that area. And this was one of the reasons I remember hearing one of the parents of the victim saying this is one of the reasons they chose this school, because he felt it was in a very safe place. So I think like no place is safe 100%, obviously, but you do get sort of a sense in certain places that, hey, I feel safe here. And you're not going to assume that something like this happened. But it's clear from her own words, though, that she's wondering, she's grappling with it and is trying very hard to make sense of it. Thanks so much, Mallory.
And that's the point. The point is that, and look, I'm not in any way, following up on what Jonesy said about, being the Monday morning quarterback and saying this is what you were going to do. I'm simply stating now that if you're a parent and you have kids in college and you've got, any type of situation, you sit them down and you say, listen, when in doubt, call it out, call 911. Okay. Learn the rules with regards to if, God forbid, somebody ODs, what needs to be done to protect you. Okay. So I'm only bringing that up from the standpoint of that this is what we should be telling our kids. I have a daughter in college, and I've told her that if she is not comfortable in a situation, if she sees somebody that's out of the ordinary and they've got pretty good security at the school she goes to, call. There is no problem. There's nothing that can be done to you if you're calling. Okay. Other than the fact that the police may get annoyed that there was nothing there, but you know what? It's better than what happened here. So that my point is simply this: I'm not Monday morning quarterbacking those poor girls. It's a nightmare. They're going to be living that with those two survivors are going to be living with that for the rest of their lives. But you folks out there, talk to your kids, tell them that this is what you should be doing, rather than getting into a situation where you're texting. As soon as they started texting, as soon as they called and no one answered upstairs, 911 should have been called immediately.
Right. To me, that's the test, right? Like if you're concerned enough that you're having this conversation, then make the call. It's kind of like, as an analogy, when we are talking, when we're putting together the show every night and we're like, should we play this video? And then, because there might be something that's like a little bit over the top about it. And then my rule always is, if we're having the discussion about whether or not we should show it, then we shouldn't show it. Right? To me, that's like we're already hesitating about whether or not this video is too gory or whatever it is, whatever the issue is with it. And if we're having that discussion, I think we know the answer already. And I think, Al, that's exactly what you're saying, and that's what the rule should be. If you're having the discussion and you're wondering, then you should, because
Call it
there's
out.
because you look at the two sides. Like if I show a video that's over the top, it's going to be.
I'm sorry, Jonesy,
you're up.
I thought I froze. I lost that thought because okay. From a viewer's standpoint, I want to see the stuff that you deem is not appropriate. I want to see it all. When I watch like car chases with police live on TV with helicopters chasing them, they always say like, if anything horrible happens, we'll turn away. And I'm like, well, then what's the payoff here? I want to see how this comes to a conclusion. So, I'm not the average viewer, but I want to see it all.
Yeah. And I get it. And I guess it depends where the line is, right? We have a line. Like I have a line. We have a line. I have a line here on YouTube as well. Like
it's called standard and practices.
Right. There are certain standards. Like, so that's the downside. If you cross that line, you haven't done the right thing. And there's different circumstances that I kind of use that test. But, for here, I think that's kind of what, unfortunately, the girls were grappling with. Spruced and Gussied. I love that name on YouTube. So did DM actually make it down to BF's room? Yes.
Yes.
That's where she ends up sleeping. Spruced and Gussied. When was the last time you got all gussied up, Jonesy?
Just a few weeks ago when I did a live stage show with 3 outfit changes. Got all gussied up for that particular one. I used to get gussied up all the time. And one of my great regrets lately is I find myself not always looking my best. You should always look your best.
Yeah.
Well,
When is a thyroid condition not fixable? Weight gain despite diet or exercise, sleep.
It is just so troubling to me though that the girls went to sleep. Didn't go forward a little bit more, didn't push the envelope.
I don't know how they did.
And it's like everything you see in these horrendous slasher films, where you could go to the closet and you've got a grenade launcher, you've got a shotgun, you've got pistols, you've got knives, you got this. I'll just take this flashlight, okay, and then I'll just start walking backwards in the house. Why wouldn't someone at that stage have, as soon as your friends don't answer upstairs, the call needs to be made? Because there's something going on there. There's something wrong. They're not answering the text messages. They're not answering the phone. And it's so odd for kids to be using the phone anyway at that generation. Everything is text. Very, very few times do you get phone calls. So when the phone call goes through and no one answers, you got to make that call. 911, very simple. And then you let, the chips fall where they may. And you're right, it would not have saved them, but it may have got him, may have had him caught sooner and would have been more of a proximity and less of this conspiracy theory stuff that we're seeming to find now in just about every case.
4:24 a.m. DM Dylan calls Ethan, one of the victims. Obviously, it goes unanswered. Then Dylan and Bethany continue to text at 4:24. DM texts Bethany, I don't know what she's saying there, though. And BF responds, yeah, I think that's I know, but it's better than being alone. So here again, at least you're not alone. I'm here. And we'll be okay. 4:27, there is a call to Kaylee Goncalves, unanswered. At 4:28, she calls Xana. It's unanswered. Then sends a text message to Kaylee, please answer. So, and that's at 4:32. So it's continuing that she knows something is wrong. No one is responding. I mean, I don't know if they sleep with their phones on or off. Mine is totally off, so you're never going to be able to wake me up with a text message in the middle of the night. But no one's answering, no one's responding. And I don't know if they normally would at 4:30 in the morning. But this is what's telling to me, right? They're all in the same house.
Right.
She's scared. She's not going to see them or find them. Right? Like if you're very concerned, please answer. You could walk out of your room, go upstairs to see Maddie and Kaylee, or go across the hallway to see if Xana is there. But she doesn't do that. So that tells me there is a level of fear here.
Shows just how scared she is.
But you know, I'm seeing a lot of comments that, you know, that hindsight's 2020 and all this other kind of stuff. I am not in any way criticizing what these two girls.
Al, why are you always saying things and you got people attacking you every week?
I know. Well, that's because,
you know, out there, Jones, every week.
See, the nice thing is, you know, we are and happy Lent, everyone. We're in the season of Lent, and I gave up aggravation for Lent. So I don't speak to my family. So now I'm not going to speak to any of you people that are putting nasty comments out on me on this whole thing. So I've given up that for Lent. But what I want to just say is this. I am not criticizing these two girls, not at all. I don't in any way think that, you know, that they knew what was happening or anything along those lines. I am saying for the people who are watching, the people who are listening, the people that are Tandanistas, speak to your kids and tell them, when in doubt, call it out. That's the only thing I'm asking for, is just let them know it's not a sin to call 911 if you're concerned. And it's better safe than sorry. And that's all I'm looking to do. All I want is that. And then, you know, God forbid, with regards to the overdose, same thing. Don't panic. Call 911. Let them come. Stay there. I don't care if there's a mountain on the table. The cops can't arrest you for that. All right. They're going to confiscate it, of course, but I mean, they're not going to arrest you for it. You know, you just have to do that. I know from a family situation of what happens if you don't do it that right way. It's a terrible.
Then you got to call Uncle Al to come down and bail you out. That's what happens. So let's look at this. This is fascinating, and thank you so much, Larissa. Larissa Harris. A lot of holes in the state's case. Not to mention lies from prosecutors and law enforcement. I thought guilt, sheath, all they have, but no work to show. S.Y. Ray will destroy the car evidence. Well, the sheath is the foundation of the case. The knife sheath is found upstairs beneath the body of one of the victims. And on the little snap on the knife sheath is the DNA that they say matches the suspect, the defendant. They have to explain it. How do you explain that? You know, there is no explanation other than I sold the knife sheath, someone stole my knife sheath, or I lent it to my homicidal friend. Like there's no, how else does his DNA get there unless you're going to try to pull like maybe Mark Furman came down and planted it there. The problem with planting evidence in this case, the problem with planting evidence in this case is there was no suspect before the evidence was found or examined, right? OJ was being investigated right out of the box, right? So he was obviously on the radar.
Right.
This guy, nobody knows. The only way they know him is because of the DNA. So it's not like they make an arrest. They have a suspect. Let's get his DNA. Let's put it on a piece of evidence. No, it's the DNA that leads them to him. So that's why I think that piece of evidence alone is enough here.
it's pretty good. I mean, it's certainly and clearly there's other stuff that that we may not know about at this stage of the game. I mean, you have to be pretty sure to be able to put the cuffs on this guy in something this big, and I think they have a strong case, and that sheath is a huge part of that puzzle.
Your success with your job, you have a job. Let that be your second nature where you can do that. Give everything else to God.
Then what about the moment when you actually realize that you're not here by accident?
And if God can use a man without arms and legs to be his hands and feet to stand in front of the gates of hell and redirect traffic, God can use any willing heart. Amen.
I do want to know more about the extraneous blood that was found. The blood that wasn't traced to anybody in the house or to him. That doesn't take away from the fact that he got this DNA on the sheath, but it does beg a lot of questions. As far as the comment about prosecution has a lot of holes in the case, I don't really see that. Do you guys?
No, I don't. But they defense attorneys, and these are very thorough defense attorneys, and they're going to hire very good experts. They will attempt to, but the bottom line is he's alleging a general alibi, which really doesn't work. His phone gets turned off at some point during the night at the time in question. He's driving around that night. He drives by the crime scene the following morning. I mean, the things they don't have the weapon. They don't have an eyewitness who can identify him. They don't have a videotape of it, and they don't have a confession. But, the DNA is one piece of circumstantial evidence that is extremely compelling. By the way, thank you. We've got over 3,000 live viewers right now. Thank you so much. Live streaming on my Facebook, my YouTube, my Twitch, my X, and the Court TV YouTube on the simulcast today. So hello to all the folks watching over there. You want to follow me on my YouTube channel, Vinnie Politan 1. Vinnie Politan 1 is my, what do they call it, handle? Or would you? By the way, I have to put another, where'd it go? These things just.
Viva la Tanginistas.
The Tanginistas. Here we go. Gen X, one of our mods, reminding, be kind to Al. No need to put everything he says into the worst possible context. Probably just about 75%. But Gen X, of course, part of our mod squad.
Order in the chat. Order in the chat. Don't dare attack. We've got order in this chat.
I guess we don't have order in that song.
I don't know what's happening. We've got some issues here. We've got some serious issues with,
Houston, we have a problem.
Let's see if it works now. No, I must have bad internet today or something. I don't know.
Well, we changed up things today. That's probably you know what? You got these kinks when.
See, I've had a.
Jonesy's just going.
Jonesy's struggling today because
I've had a lot of issues, and I just assume it's me. I have a lot of issues. Also, when I do make a comment and you can hear me, I notice a long delay before there's a reply. So I think I'm in a delay of some sort.
Yes.
Lots of internet problems here today, but that's beside the point.
I'm going to suggest that you do sign language, and I will then, speak those words. I will transcribe the words for you. Okay, I'll translate.
So this now is in the 10 a.m. hour. So this is the following morning, I guess, when she's waking up. To Kaylee, please answer. To Maddie, are you up? Back to Kaylee, are you up? So there's the gap, right? So we go from 4:30 or so to about 10 o'clock the following morning, and still no response, no reply. I think she's scared to see. I think there's a suspicion that something was terribly wrong, and she was almost afraid to acknowledge or confront it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to acknowledge that that something bad could have really happened. Like if I kind of push it down, it's not going to be real. Like, this won't be real. If I don't actually see it, it won't be real. And I think that might be part of the space that she's in at this moment.
And that is perfectly understandable. But why don't you go upstairs? I mean, the first thing that you do is you walk. It's your house. Okay, so it's not like that you have to go inside someplace you've never been before. It's not your house or whatever. It's your house. Walk upstairs. Knock on the door. What's going on? Hey, you guys up? Geez, there was something weird last night.
She's scared. She is scared.
So then that's my point. My point is, if you're scared, then something should have been done rather than waiting. Okay, something should have been done at that point.
Order in the chat. Order in the chat. Don't dare attack. We've got order in the
song.
The Mod Squad is on the job, helping us to keep it clean. The Mod Squad is on the job. Oh.
It's just not working. It's not even showing up. We're in a strange place, folks. Strange place. And I think what's happened is the software we use has changed so many things that there's a lot of bugs that need to be worked out. But
is there anybody out there?
So we'll stick with what's working. So the 911 call is finally made.
What, 11?
Around 11, yeah. I have the transcript. I'll do a quick reading of the transcript here for you.
Thank you.
And what's the number you're calling from? What's your phone number? And then they answer, what's the rest? It's redacted. Okay, tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates who's passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Why is filing your taxes with Free Tax USA different? Well, for starters, our premium.
Okay.
This is interesting, right? Because I don't think they don't see any of the red stuff that would be coming out of someone.
Right. Which is, I mean, now that could be that maybe they're covered up with blankets, okay, and you would not see anything on there, especially depending on where the person is laying down. The red stuff could have been seeping into the mattress as opposed to being expressed on the sheets. So that's certainly plausible that could be the situation. But did no one went any further? They probably looked in, made some wake up, hey, you up, and they're not moving. So then they make the 911 call.
And there's a third party who's making this call. It's not the roommates aren't making the call, because you'll hear in this next part. No, we saw. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Bingo.
So now they're putting the pieces together. I think they know for sure, but okay. Now they ask, are you with the patient? I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around. So I guess there's a bunch of scared kids that are passing the phone around, totally freaking out, in a total panic, not knowing what to do. And are you with the patient? I need someone to keep the phone. Can I just tell you what happened pretty much? What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now? I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m. Okay, I need to know what's going on right now. If someone is passed out, can you find that out? Yeah, I'll come on. We got to check, but we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? and then they dispatch the Moscow ambulance. She's not waking up. And then a couple more things. They get people on the way. They give the address. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. They're giving her age. She's 20. And I think this is all Xana. This is Xana who's on that middle floor.
Right.
Is she breathing? Is she breathing? And they're just saying, no, hello. I need you to talk to them. Okay, hello. I've already sent the ambulance. Is there a defibrillator available? I need someone. Units responding. The patient is not conscious, not breathing. And I guess they're talking to each other. And then the operator says, I think we have a homicide. So the real big lines are right there in the beginning where acknowledgement of the man. They think that something else may have happened to her. She may have passed out from drinking, right? So, and here's the other thing. Like if your friend is, like you were saying, Al, if your friend is drinking, call 911. If anyone's passed out at any moment, you call 911.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
It's how you can kind of keep watch each other's back. We've got more from Larissa Harris. I put a Linda Lane video in the chat. Not everyone has seen. Different than video that shows supposed Elantra guy walks up to dumpster and throws stuff out, waits to get picked up, curious about opinion. Interesting. We will take a look at that. That's a different Linda Lane video. Interesting. Shows supposed Elantra guy walks up to dumpster, throws stuff out, waits to get picked up, curious about opinion. That's fascinating because they haven't found clothes. They haven't found a weapon.
But you know that they would have been checking that dumpster, or they would have been checking the area where that dumpster would have been dumped. Okay, so I mean that obviously would have been done.
Obviously?
Yes, absolutely. I mean,
I don't know.
That's it. What ends up happening is this. So, like,
I don't know. I've covered too many of these cases, Al. I don't think anything is obvious here. I think they did a great job in this investigation, but I don't presume that anything and everything was done. And it would also, have to see exactly where on Linda Lane this is. Green Wool Witch. Hi, fellas. That poor child was just too terrified to act. Logic goes out the window with some folks when they're scared. Love all you guys. Fear puts us in a whole different place.
Fear strikes out. The Jimmy Pearsall story.
Yeah.
What's the most scared you ever were, Jonesy?
Well, there's a couple. I was mugged on the beach and beaten with the blunt end of some sort of weapon about the head. I could still feel the pain when it rains. But in between industry jobs, I worked as a janitor in my hometown at the school, and I went into the stage area, where they do the performances, and the teacher's office was off to the left. And I went in, and my way of cleaning the place was to leave all the lights out, dump the garbage, and get the hell out of there. There was a strange smell and aroma in the room, and I looked behind the door. Between the crack of the door, I could see eyes looking out at me. I assume you guys can still hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
We're mesmerized.
Okay, so yeah, again, there seems to be some sort of delay. So there were eyes looking out at me, and the reason there was an aroma is because I believe the guy was probably homeless.
What?
He was looking for a place to stay for the night, I think. Wanted to scream in a very, very loud, manly, deep voice for him to get out, and nothing came out. It came out in like a high-pitched falsetto. And yeah, so like, we're both walking towards the doors, which are chained locked from the inside, because that's one of the first things you do in your duties. And so I have to unlock it to get him out. And I start wielding, the chain and screamed for him to get out, and he just kept saying, like, stay calm, stay calm, and he ran away. He was obviously a homeless guy just looking for a place to crash for the night. I happened in on him. There was no harm. I did not call the police because I felt as though this gentleman has enough problems as it is. But that was probably the most scared I ever was.
What's wrong with these burger buns? They taste perfectly delicious, but due to a production mishap, their bottoms are slightly.
We've got a lot of comments starting to pop up here, so I just want to work through a few of them. And I had an interesting one here. Here we go from Ayantu. Larissa is right. Considering the science, BK didn't have to touch the sheath. There's plenty of research on how easily transferable trace DNA is. Okay, but it's got to be transferred. So something has to come in contact with the suspect, get his DNA, and then get it on the sheath. So what's the explanation there? Is it transferred from where to where? And I think, prosecutors proved the case beyond a reasonable doubt. But I think once the prosecutors put out that the DNA is there, then I think it's going to be incumbent upon the defense to come up with some reasonable alternative explanation as to how the DNA got there. You can say transfer, and it's a real deal. I agree, Ayantu, 100% that transfer DNA is real, and they can pick up it's amazing what they can pick up. But the transfer has to be transferred. So someone has to come in contact with him to transfer it there. Who, when, what, when, and how. I think if the defense wants to win that issue, they need to produce that evidence, which at this point I don't think does exist. But thank you so much, Yantu. I want to get to a couple more. I don't want to run out of time here.
Well, Ben, you know what? As history has told us, okay, generally with regards to these kind of cases, all right, the first suspect is usually the strongest suspect.
To civil rights and all the revolution fights, World War I and World War II, I'll always knows who is who. It's this day in history, this day in history, history. Now let's listen to his story.
Before we get to this day in history, Al, Justice Junkie, I'll never understand why an attorney would defend a monster like BK, defense attorney not. How do they sleep at night? Daybell's attorneys as well. Do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one. Okay,
Somebody's got to do it.
First of all, it's the cornerstone of the American jurisprudential system. Second of all, okay, there's probably was no greater patriot in the world than John Adams with regards to how he was steering this country to break free from England and all of the things that were going on with regards to the same. And then in the Boston Massacre, John Adams defended the British soldiers who opened fire on a crowd of people in the Boston Square. Okay, he defended them. And when they asked, you're such a patriot, why would you do that? He goes, because they deserve to have the best defense. That's the cornerstone of our system, and we do it. Okay, and that's why I've represented monsters, and I've represented a lot of innocent people. And you've got to go forward and do it, because that's what you'd want if you were in that position. And why do I feel like James Bond with this?
Exactly. One more note we have to get to. Johnny Knoxville. Vinny is a true crime legend. Love Vinny's shows. Thanks, Johnny.
Oh, that's exciting. All right. So now today, March 7th. Okay. March 7th in 1876, our country's centennial. Okay. Alexander Graham Bell patented the telephone. 1876. And that's right, Ben. They patented the telephone. In my house, we celebrate Alexander Graham Belkowski, who is better known as the first telephone pole. So that's how we go on that. Also on this day in history, March 7th, 1965, Bloody Sunday. State troopers used nightsticks, tear gas to attack civil rights activists as they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, on the way to Montgomery. It was a horrendous thing where you saw them beating women, children, and men with regards to the fact that they were trying to get voting rights acts to be passed in this country. The bridge, interestingly enough, the Edmund Pettus Bridge, was named after a Confederate brigadier general, who was also a U.S. senator and a Grand Dragon of the KKK. In order to counter this march, the county sheriff, Jim Clark, had issued an order for all white men in Dallas County over the age of 21 to report to the courthouse to be deputized. And then he turned them loose on these peaceful marchers who were coming across the bridge. And very, very sad part of history. But a lot came from that because that was the impetus to get the Voting Rights Act in by Lyndon Baines Johnson. On the true crime front, on this day in 1981, Randall Woodfield was arrested. Randall Woodfield was a former professional football player. He had been drafted by the Packers, and he was basically an individual who is responsible for 44 red rums and 60 essays in his history. He is sitting in jail, sentenced to life plus 90 years. And the interesting thing about this aspect, other than the fact that this guy was a former pro football player, although he was cut by Green Bay, but he was drafted by Green Bay, is that most of his things were up in Oregon and Washington, where he was committing his crimes. And he was prosecuted by Chris Van Dyke, the son of Dick Van Dyke.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I thought that was interesting. So Randall Woodfield arrested on that day, and and during his prison stay, Vin, and he's still alive. He's been married 3 times and divorced twice.
Dick Van Dyke's son?
I'm sorry?
Dick Van Dyke's son has been
No,
married?
the serial red rumber.
As soon as you mentioned Dick Van Dyke, that's all I can think about. I love that guy.
Gotta love Dick Van Dyke, who's
yeah.
still alive, by the way, still dancing and still has all of his wits.
Yes.
Dr. Von Decay, laws vary by state. Should they call? Look at Ricky Davis in Delphi. In his home, called cops, 50 years, including enhancement. They were told by cops if they had to come back, somebody would be arrested.
I can't speak on that because I don't know the facts on it. But I can tell you this, that's not what's happening in New Jersey. Okay.
If I got to come back here, somebody's getting arrested. You know the cops always say that on TV.
That's very accurate. They do say that on TV. But I'm telling you right now that under the circumstances, better safe than sorry. And I would be telling my kids, and I have told my kids, you call. Okay. You don't be a hero. I wouldn't even have explored. I mean, the thought about going upstairs, if I'm that scared and I'm not going to go upstairs, then I'm definitely calling.
I got this styling idea from AI. Incredible, right? I used the perfect match AI from GlassesUSA.com, and it matched me with these Amelia E. Nettle glasses, which I get so many compliments on. The perfect match AI matches you with the perfect pair of glasses based off of your facial features. Things like your face shape, your jawline, your cheekbones, your hairline, all of those things. And it's so easy to use. All you have to do is a quick face scan, answer 4 simple questions, and then you can virtually try on all of the recommended glasses. It's hassle-free AI. It helps you discover frames that you wouldn't have necessarily considered otherwise. And it's so quick. It only takes about 30 seconds. Click here to start the Perfect Match AI.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. GoodRx can save you a lot of money. So it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Save up to 80% on your prescriptions with GoodRx. Download the free app.
Because there's something wrong and you have an innate sense when there's something not right.
Yeah.
And that's what you exercise.
Chad Bradford, Vinny, you are presuming Brian is guilty. If you remove the touch DNA, there's absolutely nothing connecting him to the crime. He didn't do it.
That we know
Open your
about.
eyes a little bit. Well, you're taking out the biggest piece of evidence. I could do that in any case.
Well, you can't dismiss the DNA.
You can't remove the DNA from the sheath. Like, you can't.
And you know, Vin, if no one was killed, he didn't do it.
Right. Like you can't. And this was the problem with the Making a Red Rummer documentary, when they presented that to the public and tried to make it look like the guy was being falsely prosecuted or was falsely convicted for a second time, because he was falsely convicted a first time. In the documentary, they left out the most incriminating evidence against him. They left it out of the documentary. Like, they didn't mention it. Like, you can't not mention, like, evidence is the evidence, whatever it is or isn't, it is. So if there is DNA, it's there. So now it's incumbent upon the accused to come up with some innocent explanation, because once you put that at the scene beneath the body of the victim on something that was holding the weapon that was used, like, that is great evidence. That is better than an eyewitness. Better than an eyewitness.
And you know, you're also neglecting to mention the other stuff they have. Okay, there is other stuff. There's a shopping list. There's this. There's that. There is a lot of things here that people conveniently seem to gloss over and say, well, you take this out and you've got nothing. Right. Well, you're right. You take out the DNA, you've got a harder case. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have nothing. And I'm sure we're only seeing a small part of the evidence that's actually out there. Okay. And just like, you know, you look at a situation where they're going to be leaving stuff out. And look, this timeline that came up, everything is now coming into place. And it's going to be a very strong case when it comes to trial in August, if it goes to trial. Because right now, when they're starting to talk about him being on the spectrum and things along those lines, they're hoping that you know, the deep end is going to be taken off the table.
It won't.
And
not in Idaho. Not in Idaho. We're not.
You know.
No, we're not. Yeah, you could try to sell that. We ain't buying that in Idaho. Gringa, how does other DNA matter if no evidence points to someone else committing the crime? Well, in two ways it matters. In one way it matters, one way it doesn't matter. I think in one way it matters is that during the course of the trial, every little piece of evidence becomes much bigger, and attorneys make it much bigger. He's going to have a vigorous defense that will make that DNA seem like it's very, very important. It will be incumbent upon prosecutors to explain why it isn't, because it's there. And I think prosecutors, it puts an additional burden on prosecutors to not only prove their case, but to have a reasonable explanation for unknown male DNA on the rail inside the house, on some glove outside of the house, and perhaps in the fingernails of one of the victims. So all of that needs to have an explanation, and you need an expert to tell you where it could come from. You'll need fact witnesses to talk about what was going on in that house, how many people in and out, etc. But at the end of the day, if there's nothing else that can connect that DNA to a person or to someone in this crime, it shouldn't be a problem for you, because you should be relying upon the truth of what you believe the evidence proves. And the most compelling DNA is the DNA that is found beneath the victims, that clearly was not placed there by the victims, right? I mean, the victims, you can't get around what happened to the victims, where they were, and this was found beneath them. Like, a jury is allowed to use common sense and put two and two together. someone is victimized by a knife and there is a sheath found beneath the victims after that's happened to them, yeah, that's a very easy scenario to put together through circumstantial evidence. By the way, it's really interesting to see the growth of, and you were right, Al, of people who are questioning the evidence in this case, because we're seeing it.
It is now.
And you should be skeptical. Everybody should be skeptical because the burden's on prosecutors. But like, I find this.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100
particular piece of evidence compelling.
But you're going to find now that everybody has a conspiracy theory on everything. You know, and then you see people countering it and saying, "Well, wait a minute. You know, you have this guy is is he a spree, guy, or is he a serial red rummer?" Well, if he's a serial red rummer, okay, there hasn't been any others cases going on, so it stopped when they grabbed this guy. So it's an interesting point on that too. I've seen, someone mentioning, well, there hasn't been any other cases like that going on in the area. Yeah, you're right. And serial red rummers don't stop, and they want credit for what they're doing. They don't want someone else getting the credit for what they did. So there's a lot of. I think this case is a lot stronger than people want to give it credit for. And I think that everyone is going to be throwing, anything against the wall to see if it sticks, because we like conspiracies. We like to have the opposite view of what went on. No one likes to say it's 100% sure. Everybody likes to say, well, we're not that sure.
Larissa Harris is back. Innocent until proven guilty doesn't exist. Well, it does exist. It exists in every case, in every trial. And it should be with what's been going on in many trials. I see a lot of prosecutors today not after the truth just for the win. Yeah, that can be a problem. I've seen that. Wrongful convictions do happen. Yes, I think less of them happen today because of DNA, because of video evidence, because of license plate readers, because of cell phones. I think all of that has led to a much more precise investigation in many cases, but there's always differences. But Jonesy, the innocent until proven guilty doesn't apply to the public, doesn't apply to the court of public opinion. We do not have to wait for a trial to happen to have opinions, right? We're not standing in judgment. And when I have opinions before a trial, my opinion is based upon any evidence that's been made public. And here, this evidence has been made public. If it's challenged and you provide evidence that, this was a frame job, or this was planted, or, somebody was drinking while they were testing the DNA, all right, I'll listen to you. But as we stand now, based upon what I'm hearing, I find it compelling, Jonesy.
Well, that was going to be my point, actually, is that innocent until proven guilty does indeed exist in the eyes of the law in court, but in public, it seems to me quite the opposite. Most everybody I know has an opinion on these crimes that are so well publicized and such. And I myself will often decide who did it. Like the first time I hear of a story, I'll see somebody on the news, and they're the parent's victim or whatever the case may be, the victim's parents or whatever the case may be, and I'll immediately point to them and say, oh, that one did it. That's just the nature of the way things are. But hopefully, they continue to exist in the courtrooms, innocent until proven guilty. I strongly believe in that, but I don't follow it.
William Chardy, you want to see how your DNA ends up somewhere you haven't been? Check out the Lucas Anderson case.
Okay. Well, if they find my DNA there, then I will check it out.
That is probably the best way to find a reasonable doubt, is to get your hands on someone else's DNA and leave it at the scene of wherever you're committing a crime.
Yeah. Well, you've seen that in a number of...
I've seen it on Law and Order.
and you've seen it in a number of movies, Scott Turow books and things along those lines. So that is something that is, conceivable, obviously.
Here's the problem with the defendant in the Idaho 4 case, and Johnny Knoxville is on it again. Thank you, Johnny. The suspect's stargazing alibi is shot. The weather was full of clouds and foggy the night of the Red Rums. So he's out stargazing, like he's driving around. His alibi is, I'm driving around aimlessly all night. Like, that's not an alibi. That's insane. An alibi is, I was home. I was with my girlfriend, which he didn't have. Whatever it was. I was doing something like normal and something where my phone maybe is on the whole time. My phone isn't turning on, turning off. I'm not driving around all night on this adrenaline rush. Like his so-called alibi doesn't really work. It's a generalized alibi, not a specific alibi. Where were you at 4 a.m.?
Well, you know what the answer is on that one? There's conspiracy theories that would be going out on this. I say I was told it was going to be a good night for stargazing, so that's why I was out, but I was misinformed.
Mm-hmm.
I was misinformed. I was told it was a good night for stargazing. I was misinformed. But these doubts and these conspiracies, all stem from basically the Watergate era forward. You have the situation with regards to, the Kennedy assassination going forward. And then you have what happened with Watergate, and that you don't trust government and you don't trust anything down those lines. And I am not a crook. And you go forward on that. And
frame job. I was framed.
That's why we've started all of these doubts. And, DNA has done a lot to save a lot of people. We see
but Al, can I talk to you about those doubts? Those doubts come from lack of transparency.
I don't necessarily.
That's where
transparency doesn't matter. No one agrees that it's transparent anyway. Everything is opaque. Everything in the world now is opaque. No matter what you can say, the grass is green.
What is it, Area 51? Yeah. Take me for a tour of Area 51. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Do it.
When do you want to go? When do you want to go?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Let's go. We'll go live from Area 51. Suze, Vinnie, will you be covering the William Brock trial next month out of Clark County, Ohio? The man accused of red rum against the Uber driver that was sent to his house. I know we're tracking it, but if it's next month, might be in the middle of the Karen Reed trial, so might get pushed a little bit on the lower pecking order of things, but we'll keep an eye out for it. But I don't think it's going to be a headliner, Suze. I don't think it's going to be a headliner because the Karen Reed retrial is scheduled for April 1st is when it's supposed to start. So the other thing about Ohio that's bad about covering trials with cameras and microphones is that each witness can opt out. And depending upon how the judge handles that issue, some judges will ask each witness, do you want the cameras on or off? And most of the cop witnesses, they don't care, the professional witnesses, but the eyewitnesses and stuff, a lot of times will opt out. So when we try to cover trials in Ohio, it gets difficult because you don't get to see everything. And that's why we don't do a ton out of Ohio, but obviously we'll keep our eyes on it. Larissa is just on fire today. Thank you again. First tested sheath came up with 0. After handed to FBI, the sample doubles in size and FBI no methods to show. Probable cause is a dumpster fire. No evidence. I love that.
When is a thyroid condition not fixable? Weight gain despite diet or exercise.
Dumpster fire. I covered a case with an actual dumpster fire, the disappearance of baby Lisa. Anyhow, strange pain saw sheath after CSI. But here's the problem with this frame, and I said it already, and I don't know if you disagree, Al, but it was the DNA that led them to the suspect. It wasn't like they had the suspect and grabbed his DNA and planted it.
Right.
Because they didn't know who he was. They just didn't know who he was.
The allegations they make about
he wasn't on the radar. April Diaz, thank you so much. We've got. I need to give my love to my 3 favorite online guys and my fellow chatters who always make me smile. Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. April Diaz. Guys, we are almost out of time.
What?
No, it flew. I'm just wondering how it's going to go at the end here. We're getting another one here. Spruced and Gussied, Vinnie and Panel, thanks for catching me up. I have been way too invested in this case and backed off last year for Lent, actually. Thanks again for the kind words on my username. It's my vintage business. Oh, wow. It's a vintage business. Jonesy, you would probably love going there. I'll have to check that out. All right. Thanks to our mods. It's an actual business. Spruced and Gussied. Thank you to Jet X, Frankie Figs, Ashley Bouchard, and Jennifer Soubey, our mod squad. Thank you to all the chatters. We had some technical glitches here. I don't know why. We'll try to figure.
Well, that was interesting, I must say. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, Vinny wasn't as bad as some of the other ones. He is saying, you know what I mean? Like, at least his stuff didn't go so as far as to say some of the crazy shit, but still, I don't know. And I don't know what shopping list they're talking about. I have no idea what shopping list they're talking about. Anyways, I'm fixing to end this stream, but I was just wanting to go over the 911 call, and I found some of this stuff, so I thought it was interesting. But to me, the 911 call just confuses me more, makes me question things more, and so do the texts, because they don't really make sense. I still think they were staged to happen at a certain time. I still think what I think. But I could be wrong, so who knows. But anyways, Kane, are you going live tonight? Who's doing lives tonight? Anybody? Oh, I think Miss Potts is. But I can't remember what time, so y'all have to look. I think Miss Potts is. But anyways, thank y'all for the people who came. It was fun. Oh, you gotta work tomorrow? Yeah, the chat did turn. Yeah, there was a lot of people I saw in that chat, and I think there's still more that are saying things, which I'm glad, because that helps some people question things and go and find the documents and read things themselves. So, UK time there. Good night. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm sure I will do more lives about this as more shit comes out. I haven't looked at all the documents that come out because it gets overwhelming, but you know, I just throw my opinion in there. It doesn't matter how I feel. I will always do something to stand up for these 4, because I mean, I feel like we're the only ones doing it, and for Brian. So, and his innocence until proven, but it's not just about Brian. It's not just about the 4. Like, we have to combine them all together. So somebody's got to stand up, because they are making a clown show of this. And to me, it's disrespectful to the 4 and to Brian and his family and just the American justice system in a whole, but mainly to the 4 people that are not here, because that's horrible. So, you know, that's what I try to do. That's all I can do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, it has been. And it's very sad, because it's 4 college, and then not only that, the school disrespected them. Like, it's just sick to me. It really makes me, I get upset and cry a lot because it's gross. But justice is not just finding anybody. Justice is finding all that did this to them. And whether people think I'm a joke or not, I'm not right about everything. I'm not even right about half the stuff, really. But I was right about her calling that damn driver. Now, I could be wrong about what she called him about, but I was right about that. So, but I felt that. So there's a couple of things that I feel that are going to come out that I would rather not be right about, but we'll see. So, yeah, I care a lot. And I mean, if Brian was guilty, y'all, like all these people saying people's in love with Brian, listen to me. If that man's guilty, then he needs to stay in jail. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I was not there. I cannot guarantee you anything, but there's people that was there that we have more answers than they do for some reason. So I'm confused on that too. Or we're right about more things that we're speculating on than they were there. So all of that's confusing to me. Some of the stuff is law enforcement. That's why I'm holding my tongue on some of it, because some of it law enforcement did, and that's not right. And I think that I would have lawyered up too if I was them, because they, with their statements and stuff, I would have done the same thing. So, because they didn't portray Dylan's statements the way she said them to them, and she can't help that. That's them. So all I'm saying is the truth, and that's with anything. With anything. And I'm hardcore on the truth, because a lie can fuck somebody's life up, and I'm living proof of everything that happens when people lie on you. And that's why my PTSD triggers somebody calling me a fucking liar, because I don't lie. If I have to lie about something, I'll end up telling you about having to lie about it. I do not fucking lie. And for the people that truly know me, they know I don't. And for anybody to say I do, that is the worst thing you can do to me. That is a way to make me almost hate you, because I don't like being called a liar. Especially when I can prove to you that, like, I hate being called a liar. People that don't know me, that call me a liar, whatever. People that know my story, my backstory, that calls me a liar, it's a PTSD moment. So when people tell you I'm obsessed with something, there's reasons that I'm obsessed with it. It has nothing to do with what a lot of people think it has to do with. It has to do with, I told somebody something. I told somebody everything about my background, everything about me. And then to do what you're doing now, that's my problem. And that is why I try not to call people liars unless you can blatantly say they're lying. So, and when I see stuff that says Brian Koberger's DNA was under Maddie Mogan's fingernail, it makes me want to jump through my computer. But I can't fight every lie, like one-on-one. I just try to, like I said, go to the three dots and say, don't show me that shit no more. And then I just get on here and whatever. If it reaches one person that didn't know, that's what matters. So that's all I'm trying to do. Get justice for people that are not here to get justice. And I don't see people screaming, and I don't understand why Idaho's not screaming. So, but y'all have a good day, and I'll probably do another live this weekend sometime.